Oh man, we live, baby. We live. We lit, baby. We lit. I know you guys been waiting for another show to actually turn up and turn on. What I'm gonna get you guys to do straight off the bat is to show the love, 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 love. I see that we got 8 people tuning in already, and I see 6 people's already hit the like button. So I love that, respect that. But could we get some more like buttons up in the building? I know it's late, but I need you to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that Titans TV is live right about now. And we've got a strong host of panel members with various different ideas and ideologies that's rearing to go. And we're definitely going to welcome some of you guys to come onto the show as well. With this show, we're going to open it up and we're going to take some topics from the panel as well as from you guys, right? So, you guys in the audience, you know what you need to do to get my attention. All you simply have to do is simply tag Titans TV or hit us up with a super chat, and we'll make sure we always shout you guys out with your super chat. No matter how weird and wonderful that your super chat message might be, I'm obliged to read it out. All right. So please hit us up and let us know what you guys want to talk about. But we're going to let our panel members discuss. I'll bring up some topics. Then we're going to choose maybe 2 or 3 out of them. Yeah. Shouts out to Middlesex Omar up in there doing his moderating duties. Salute to you, King. But yeah, we're going to open it up. We're going to get them to discuss which topics they want to present. And then we're going to whittle it down to 2 or 3 topics. So I would love for you guys to help us and choose the topics as well as our panel members as well. All right. So first and foremost, we've got my good brother, Carnane. You may have seen him at Speaker's Corner. Y'all calling him affectionately the Jamaican Muslim. Oh, man. Salute to you, Carnane. All you got to do is open up your mic, my brother. Okay. Well, whilst we're waiting for you to open up your mic, let me get Brother E. Are you ready to talk? Okay, Carnane.
Yeah, bro.
All right. Let me get Carnane on since he's actually available right now. Carnane, go ahead, fam. Tell me, what topic would you like to discuss?
I just it could, I don't know if it could be a topic, but I was just asking like, because sometimes when I watch like when maybe I interview or someone going live, and like I say, everyone I respect everyone have the free speech, I understand that very well. Is but when they're speaking like say in a critic about something else, regardless if they're right or the wrong, and about something or someone else, where might see, that person is speaking wrong against about me. Don't you think those panel or those platform that promote and give them a platform to speak should every time when if they're gonna speak in critique about someone else, any living other being, they should also get those other being on the same panel at the same time so we can have a balanced narrative, like an equal stage. Like a court. You will never have a court case without a defendant and a prosecution at the same time.
I like that. I like that. All right. Let's go over to. No, that's powerful. All right, let's go over to E.
Yeah. Okay. I would like to talk about something black. Yeah. But
Mhm.
I don't have a topic in it. Yeah. So I'd like people to come up with a black topic. But if not, yeah, I would like to talk about the benefits of, like, if you're religious, just sticking to your own thing and not messing with other people's religion, or the plus and the negative. I don't mind debating that or discussing that. But if not,
All right.
like, preferably something black.
I got something for you still. Ultra Funky had, I believe, one of his, if not his first show today, and he dropped something that was very powerful. So I'm going to bring that up a little bit later on to supplement what you're talking about, and we're going to discuss. Let's see who else we got here. We got E. No, sorry, not E. What's my brother's name? Claim your inheritance, baby. Claim your inheritance. What's good?
Shalom, shalom,
Shalom,
shalom.
shalom, shalom, King.
Okay, so we're throwing out topics.
Yeah, we're throwing out topics right now. I know you just come in. What's good?
Okay, so the only topic I really like discussing, really, if I had my way, is to talk about self-determining and becoming our own self-governing nation with our
Mm,
own military and economy and
mm.
systems, hospitals and schools and first responders and stuff like that.
Jeez. All right. All right. Nation building. All right, my brother. I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's gonna suit or fit nicely with what my brother E is discussing. But let's get buzzing. What's good?
Yo, what's going on, man? Yeah, I'm happy
Mm.
just to roll with whatever, man. So yeah. Cool.
Yeah, you're good. You're good with the flow, yeah?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah.
I hear that. Let's see. Who else we got up in the building? We've got my good brother Buddha Bing. Like when I'm not here, that is the official moderator for Titans TV. Let it be known. Go ahead, Buddha.
Yes. Good evening, gentlemen. So you know what? My subject would be specifically towards Carmen. Being that he's from Jamaica and the importance music plays in Jamaica, in culture and society, I'd like to discuss how Islam and music would affect the cultural diversity within Jamaica. If we can, it could be a short subject. Don't have to go on for hours, but I'd like to have some beneficial knowledge from that, if possible, at some point.
I like that. All right. Then we got B2. It's good.
Blessings, people. Yeah, man. I think a lot of interesting topics have been mentioned. I'm quite happy to just roll with whatever the panel decide to go with.
All right. So, okay, let me get Abdi Khalik in real quickly. Nope, he's just jumped out. So I'm gonna do this, right? We've got Buzz and B2. They're good with the flow, right? So out of the ones that you've heard so far, right? Which is your top pick? Okay, Buzz, let me go to you. Out of the ones that you've heard so far, which would be the best topic?
Yeah, I want to hear about no claims, Black Nation.
Ooh, okay. And then B2? B2.
What was it? Yeah, either claims nation building or what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do that then. Let's do that. So that's number one topic. That looks like we're gonna be dealing with that. All right. So now I want to see family members out there, right? What other topic would you like to hear? Okay. So far, we definitely got nation building topics going to be presented. What else? Okay, you've heard the various topics that was dropped. What do you like? Okay, if you don't remember the names or the titles of the questions of the topics, just simply say, claim or Buddha or E or Carnane. Like just say that and we can get it in. Oh man. So we've got Dr. Reggie, Saber Reggie up in the building as well. So I think this is one of Reggie's favorite topics, nation building or city. What's the word? What's the word, Saber? Saber, I know you've got a plan. What's that plan called again? The Saber's not ready.
What was it?
It skipped my mind right now. But let's quickly see. Titans TV, can I get the link? It doesn't work. Right? If you want to get the link or it doesn't work, all you have to do is simply message me your email via the chat section. Or if you've been in one of our previous chats, just go in there and just message me, okay? And I will get you the link. Let's see. Lisa Ingram says, I would be interested in hearing views on Farrakhan's plan for Black community as they are similar to yours without the Islamic view. Okay. All right. Why was the throne on water? Says Sniper Brown. Oh, man. All right. So this is what we're going to do right now. Okay. We've got almost a full panel anyway. So shouts out to you, Abu Respect. What's good, King?
Hello, my brother. My name is Abdul Respect Rastafari.
I love it. I love it, man. I swear to God, I love it. All right, that's it. Black City Plan, like Saber Reggie has actually got it up there. Black City Plan, and I'm there messing around. All right, Saber Reggie, are you available?
Yes, I'm listening. I don't know if I can do another 5 hours like I did the last couple of shows.
Well, my comments is that, you know, I learn a lot listening to your show, because you have lots of different input. What I have noticed is that people are sincere for their beliefs, but their beliefs override other people's plans, concepts,
Don't
thoughts,
listen to this Kalam the coon, man.
research.
Don't be listening to this coon.
Hey, brother, don't say
Go
that.
watch Tommy Robinson's
Brother,
car,
don't
man.
say that.
Go watch Tommy Robinson's
My
car.
brother, don't say that.
Come on, man.
Brother,
He could say what he could say whatever he wants, because
okay, brother.
it proves my point. What I find is that anytime that we talk about getting a movement started that other type of warfare from radical Christians and radical Muslims. Not all Muslims, not all Christians.
Very radical.
So what happens is that they already have a plan. Their plan is written in their holy books. Now, and it's very specific. It's about basically converting, recruiting people to continue their plan. And what I found is that in these the last shows that I've been a part of is that there has been simply warfare. The strategy is for them not to disagree with each other, even when they have their own questions. It's one dominant person from a Christian faith and a dominant person from a Muslim faith come on and tell the person directly on the line, you know, you're not a Muslim, you're going to go to hell, you're going to burn, you need to repent, right? And then there is a line that is pushed. So I'm going to, my plan is the Black City Plan. My plan is the Black City Plan because it involves the group of people who all of these faves have been super exploited to divide the people and certainly the people of the richest continent of the world, which is Africa. These other places, they are they may have some resources like oil, but that's not all of them, right? So, but in the
Sorry
next
to,
20,
sorry to interject you, my friend. Sorry, apologies. Kalam, are you there?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Just out of fairness, I think Claim brought up the subject. So, if anything, don't you think he should have the opening gambit in regards to this topic?
I'm talking about whether you understand it or don't understand. He asked me in because I do have a plan. It's called the Black City Plan. And the Black City Plan, before you interrupted.
Yes, sir. No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Just out there.
Right. Before you interrupted, it involves the largest harvest of people and humanity by religion. They need to religiousize the African people who they have not religiousized in all these domains. But at the end of the day, these people, the African people and Black people, and those who live in the diaspora that are descendants of these people, or will always be super exploited by the Christians and the Muslims and the other imperialists like the Chinese, right? So I could always give thoughts on the Black City Plan. I largely created it for America because in America we have a different situation where we have places that are a majority populated by Black people. I don't know, and that in this is a scenario, we can take cities. Cities are the basis of civilization. Cities are the basis of civil. All of them contains the same word, CI, which is basically a territory. and that and then when those people can actually govern themselves by majority population, by so-called democracy, then we in fact could create rules for ourselves. But I'm mindful. I will participate in any topic and add. But if it's about governance, I do want you to know that there will be people from the outside communities who will come in and they will sabotage the discussion. Yesterday, Kalam, I was hoping that you was going to finish what you had started by talking about the secret teachings, and you weren't able to completely do that. You did open it up for some type of conversation, but I don't think you finished your dissertation. So be mindful, anything that we talk about, there are people with another agenda who is going to attempt to sabotage a fruitful discussion and bring it back to their faith. So I'll stop right now. Thank you so much for your time. So whatever topic is there, I would just comment.
Can you define what black for us, please?
Sure. Simple. Who am I speaking to first?
Buzz.
Which one is Buzz? Raise your hand, or is it a picture? Oh, okay, Buzz.
One with the astronaut.
Okay. So black people or descendants of the African continent who were the original people of the continent of Africa, who are on the continent of Africa and are in the diaspora, who have their language, their culture, their concepts of religion taken from them by the super exploitative systems of Europe and Arabia and other places to dominate those people and their resources. So do you have any more questions about who I'm talking about? Because I was specific. Descendants.
You've answered it, what you define as black people, yeah. So you're not including like Papua New Guineans and them sort of black people, right?
The plan that I am talking about, they in fact can use the same concept, because it really doesn't have any. It has a lot to do with our people who my focus is on, but it has to do about the oppressed, the oppressed people of color.
My brother, isn't the white people also oppressed?
Bro.
In some cases.
So anyone who's not white can be in your plan, right?
Yes.
Yes. So
is yes or no, or can someone who's oppressed, like what the other guy is saying? I know
like I said, African people were oppressed by Arab people.
Yeah, but Papua New Guinea, you've just included Papua New Guineans, yeah, in it, yeah.
Yeah.
Papua New Guineans are closer to me in DNA than they are to a black African guy, right? So.
No, they are Homo sapiens that left Africa, and they were mixed with Neanderthal and Denisovans, but they have a very close alignment to people of color, and they have been oppressed.
Well, I was speaking to Genesis the other day, and he was saying that they're closer aligned than white Europeans than they are black Africans.
Okay, so if we could look at the DNA will tell you something else, but the other part of what I had said was about them being oppressed. So
I just find it hard to just strange that you just not include everyone's including except from white people, isn't it, as well? Isn't it?
Well, you asked. No, well, my plan works for white people. Have already used the Black City Plan. It's called European domination.
Yeah, but the white elitists have used that plan.
No,
yeah.
not just
me. I'm like Oliver Twist, yeah, so I don't understand like why I'd be like included in with like elitists, isn't it? Like, I don't know.
But do you not understand why you would not be included in a black plan? Is that your problem?
No, I don't understand. I understand what you're saying, innit? But I'm like I don't get why he's excluding white people, innit? Like fucking, we're all white people as well, innit?
But that's the group that he's chosen, isn't it? It's like, you know, it's like if women had a group of women, it's like that's their business, isn't it? It's not really your business, isn't it? Really and truly.
Yeah, but it would be your business to say like if he's on about
I don't know what you
like. So he's on about states in America. Yeah. So say some guy in England wanted to do it, yeah, right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they wanted to separate in England, yeah, and say take Wales, yeah, and they wanted to form their own military and all this stuff. It is going to affect me then, right?
What do you mean take Wales? He's not talking about taking anywhere. Like you would still, even in the city, you would still be able to enter the city.
Well, personally, I've spoken to claim your inheritance before, yeah, or I like to call him no claim your inheritance, yeah. Right, so I know what like his stance is in it. So I'm just more maybe addressing.
I swear it's not even claim talking though.
It's the overall topic, man.
Claim's not even in the chat though, bro.
Oh, I thought he was in.
Is it? Can I just? Is Reggie here still here? I mean, like Kalam put certain rules forward when he started to speak before we started, and there was a topic that chose. But when Reggie started, his intro is nowhere on the topic. I mean, he threw a couple punches at Christian when talk about radical Christian, and he says radical Muslim, but I didn't hear him mention radical non-Muslim. He never mentioned radical Democrat, and he never mentioned radical black people as well. And I'm a guy that call a spade a spade. Because despite I'm black, we are radical black as well. You know what I'm trying to say to you?
Radical.
So, we could do that though, or we could stay on topic, bro.
No. It's about honesty for me. That's what I deal with, honesty.
Every
so
you have a radical people.
Okay, so those any group of oppressed people could take part of the Black City Plan. And not all Muslims, like I said, and not all Christians are radical. So any of those groups of people could participate in the plan to empower themselves. So I'm plan.
Reggie, this is a point. Reg, is affirmative. Reg, is it affirmative to affiliate radical on the two set of people you mentioned? You never mentioned okay then.
I heard what you said, and but you don't.
Brother, I beg you stop modding, man. Come on, man.
You're actually not being sincere. You're not being honest because
you're not being please, Reg.
One at a time, brothers. One at a time.
Yeah, I waited so long, but when Reg came in, he didn't stick to. He was digressing from the topic of that chosen anyway. It was more like a personal subtle blows he threw in, but he only threw out two group of people by affiliating them with radical. He didn't say radical non-Muslim. He didn't say radical Democrats, and I can give him any example. He didn't say radical black, you know. And then he talk about, so he tried to point to people want to infiltrate now. If be careful, he's throwing blows. But if he put a group of black people together amongst themselves, they will still some of them will still mess up their own thing. We see so many examples of it.
Well, you want to see the examples, but I was pretty clear. I am talking about the oppressed people who have been oppressed by.
My brother, are you racist?
Well,
are you racist?
No, I'm not.
Okay, why you have black city then? Why not just city?
Oh, come on, man.
Okay.
Serious people, man. This conversation is going left. It's going nowhere.
Not only black people are oppressed.
We're talking about nation building. Man want to take it about religion. Man want to say, why are we not talking about these people? This is the topic, man. This is the topic.
Let's be fair. People, man. When Reggie came, he digressed. Reggie should never.
I understand that.
I was invited to speak. Wait, I was invited to speak just like you was.
All right, gentlemen, listen. Let's do it like this. Kalam's not here. I'm going to moderate. So one at a time, please, gentlemen. So, Mr. Reggie, at the moment, the accusation is that you've diverted and spoke about something else. Well, soon as we're there, let's deal with that. Okay, so, Carmen, say your piece, please.
Yeah, I was just saying, I value principle and abiding by our rules. I value these things. And just say, Kalam set it up, and I hear it very clearly. I hear what Kalam laid out clearly. When Reggie came in, rather than sticking to the black building. You see, I'm a Muslim, I could do a better job. I could speak on black for 10 hours without even commenting on certain things. You understand me? He didn't do so.
Okay, that's
He
fine.
didn't do so.
We're here.
Yeah.
We're here already, and he's brought the subject up.
Let me finish the point about it, please. Please, he
If
was the first
everyone's
one
happy,
that.
if everyone's happy to speak on that, or if anyone has an objection, do you object to speaking about that subject, Carmen?
No, can I say one thing? I'm just saying. I'm gonna finish when I say this. Reggie says, "Not leave, try to leave religious black people. Whatever. We're still black at the same time. Don't forget that." But then he's the first one that bringing religion in. He was the first one mentioned those titles. It's about black. Don't stick to talk about black alone. I like talk about black. I like talk about what we're gonna do for the kids who get killed in America. What we're gonna do for our innocent black brother who on death row. I like talk about these things because I'm also active as well. Some of these people who talk, they're not in the street, they're not active. I'm active also.
Okay. E, would you like to comment?
I just want to say, yeah, at the beginning, I ain't gonna lie, yeah, with what the brother Reg was saying, I kind of got lost because it was just getting so long, yeah, and I kind of thought like it wasn't really on topic in it, yeah. I understand that the brother was invited to speak in it, but when he stepped in, like the guy claimed has even left. I didn't even get to hear what he wanted to say, which I was interested
That's
in.
what I was trying to say. Yeah, I wanted to bring it back to Claim because he raised the subject in the first.
You know, so like I would just ask the brother to try and like keep it not so long and so slow, cut like he's saying the 5 hour thing, not really into that today. And also, yeah, like let's just keep it on topic. Let's not get deterred and start getting into religion or why we're not being included in this. This is just the topic, innit? We have discussions every other night, innit? About if brothers want to talk about white nation building or if they want to bring up a topic, why are white people not being included in the black plan? Make that a topic, innit? But that's not the topic, innit?
Okay, so thank you for that. So let's go to B2. B2, can you kick off the conversation about nation building? Liam, can I get you to respond to that afterwards? B2, you there? Okay, B2 is not available at the moment. So E, could you kick off? Oh, are you there?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm here. Okay, sorry.
All right, could you kick off the subject of nation building? Specifically, Black nation building, I believe.
Okay. Okay. So Black nation building. What is this to us? I feel like it's a huge umbrella in it. It's a whole ecosystem. It's an infrastructure. And to really effectively talk about it, we have to do it in a systematic way. So I'm not gonna attempt to do that because there's so many angles and there's just so much opportunity to get lost in one line of avenue. We need to plan that out how we do that. But what I would say is I think there's a large degree of it that can't be done on platforms like this in the live arena.
Okay.
So
is
with
that because
being said,
is there a
go
reason?
on.
Is that because certain people would be offended by certain subjects, or
Do you know what? That is an element. It's not one that is quite high in my concern. That is an element, but it's more so because we have internal healing that we need to do indoors first. It's like
Absolutely.
It's like if you've got a domestic with you and your mum, do you want to do that on live YouTube or you want to do that? Do you know what I mean? So that's how I see that one.
Okay, cool. Liam, would you like to respond?
I don't really know what input I can put in on this conversation. Really, I'm just going to listen for a bit. Innit?
Okay, so let's talk about nation building. I'm going to try and raise it like this. We can speak about it in a generalistic type of way. Let's not kind of go too fine into details. As Claim suggested, what he wanted to do is break off and have his own nation. I spoke to Claim about this before. I personally think it's preposterous. I do not wish to live in a society like what he describes. So he describes a black-only nation whereby they have their own. I have to pre it by saying that he is a Hebrew Israelite. I don't know much about that movement, but from what I hear, it's not conducive of the life I live. Okay, so what he wants to do is have a self-governed state whereby they've got their own military, own currency, own infrastructure, school, hospital, etc., etc. Does everyone on this panel, I think obviously Liam is not, but does everyone on this panel, feel like they could live in a society like that? Going out to E.
First of all, like if man's not gonna talk in it, yeah, then you can listen on YouTube, innit? Let someone else jump in it. Like, don't make sense hogging up the space just to listen. You get
know
me?
what? Listen, give him the opportunity. Okay.
Buddha, can I comment on the black Asian building now? I don't think maybe Reggie don't mean so much.
Carmen. Let's take it in turns, yeah. I'm gonna go to E, then I'm gonna go to B2, then I'm gonna go to yourself, then I'm gonna go to Mr. Reggie, yeah. So E,
okay.
Would you feel comfortable living in a society like that?
Yeah, I feel comfortable living in a society like that, and a society that is not like that. Okay. Yeah, why not?
Okay, B2, how about yourself?
Yeah, I would feel comfortable living in a society like that.
Okay. Reggie, go ahead. Sorry, not Reggie, Carmen.
I want to say to and let's call a spade a spade. Just thinking maybe sometimes it's not so much of saying the physical blackness of being around all your people who's black. You could be living in a mixed society as well. That can be a second priority, but you could be in a mixed society. But it's about acknowledging the fact that black people, because of the hangover of what we went through and our forefather went through, we at the lowest level in the world today. The scale is not balanced. So it's more like first to focus on something which is socially, the economic affairs, to get them up to a balanced level of having equal level of having an equal share of decision and rulings in the world. It doesn't mean that they have to be compiled in one place to having that. Okay. But if we have to do that because of mistrust, if because of mistrust, like what Reggie talked about, but I didn't like when he tried to link it to say, oh, radical Muslim and only faith people would come and try to infiltrate. I didn't like when he tried to link that on it. But if we want to separate, if we have to separate because we cannot trust and we're scared of people, then we have to be in our own community. I don't mind living in a black community. But the question now, if I live in a black community, those people are gonna respect me because I can't change my black skin, but I don't want to change being a Muslim also. The question is now on the reverse now. If these people gonna love me, because I have no hatred for them.
Not automatically.
Okay. Let's bring it back to Mr. Reggie. Are you there? Mr. Reggie, do you copy?
Yes.
So the question is, I'm assuming I know what your answer is going to be, but would you be happy living in a black-only community society?
I don't think that's possible.
Regardless of whether it's possible, would you feel happy living in a black-only society?
I will start again with what I think is possible. I think that this is a global community. So the Black City Plan is not about living entirely in black communities without other people, but there are some prerequisites. There are many authors who have written incredible books like The Destruction of Black Civilization, right? There were cities, civilizations that were operating within their own ethnicities until they got invaded. It's difficult to have a conversation, want to start talking about how nations were invaded. That is how we got the peopling. So the quick answer to your question is that the fact of the matter is I don't think it's possible, but what is possible is to change the balance of power by having people understand what actually happened in the last let's say 1,000 years. Something happened.
My brother, why can't you just coexist with the people, man? Different color. What's the difference?
Hello, Mr. Abu.
It's just a different color. Come on, man. Answer.
Abu Rastafari, listen to me, yeah? I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak, but if you're going to start trolling, I'm going to have no option but
okay, to... my brother.
Yeah?
Buddha.
Okay.
The human family began on the continent of Africa, the Homo sapiens sapien, that
So,
group.
bro, he asked you if you'll be comfortable, not about history.
I already answered that.
You just keep it moving.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, what was the
Other people
answer?
got an answer as well,
I
bro.
didn't get the answer, bro. So what was it?
The
Yes or no?
answer was no. Okay, so listen.
Okay, thank
so
you. Thank you. That's enough. All right, cool.
the answer is that it's impossible. That it is impossible. So
Okay, can that be the answer to the question where he said, yeah, put that aside, and then if it was possible, yes or no? And then you told me, you're saying that your answer is no, it's impossible. But he already told you in the question, put that to one side.
So the answer to the question
You have an imagination, right? Use your imagination.
The question is
what we want to try and do.
If you asked me the question and I said no, it's impossible. So the fact of the matter is, I've already said that it's not possible. We live in a global community. I'll stop.
Okay, brilliant. So what is Mr. Reggie? I think there's a lot of people that want to try and get their opinions out, and if everyone has loads of time on the mic, it's not going to be feasible. So Mr. Abu Rastafari,
my brother Reggie, do you have problem living in a place next to different color?
Okay, let's.
All right.
It's only different color.
Hello, mate.
You're making me mad, man.
All right. I'm back. Hopefully y'all can hear me, right?
Can we be fruitful?
That's it. So let's do this now, right?
Vegetable. Let's be vegetable.
You want me to give you solution to black people in this world? People don't have no solution. So let me give you solution.
Give us the solution.
Yo, brother, let Kalam speak. You're trying to come in for a second, man.
All right. So again, we have rules on Titans TV. Okay. So the 3 rules is keep your mic muted at all times. Second rule is respect each other's cipher. When another person is speaking, please no interruption. Wait for them to finish their talk and then jump in. Third rule is please no profanity and no swearing. All right. All right, simple rules, very, very simple rules. So let's actually respect each other and tolerate each other's ideas and opinions, okay? Because I already know people who are watching in right now, this may not be their cup of tea, but they're going ahead and listening to this because they want to hear, they want to learn what other people from different backgrounds actually have to say and their thoughts as well. So, in that being said, Buddha, could you let me know who on the panel has yet to speak?
Scattered Mind, as well as Kelly Allen, as well as Abu Rastafari.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna get Scattered Mind. Oh, and Preston as well. All right. So I'm gonna get Scattered Minds to come in. Then I'm gonna get Preston. Then I'm gonna get Abu Respect, and then of course I'm gonna save the best for last and get Kelly Arm on. All right, go ahead, Scattered Minds.
Yo, yes. I mean, you meant best for first is what you meant, actually. I was gonna say, just keep the answer quickly. Would I be happy living in an all-black society? I didn't hear exactly how the brothers described it. It sounded like you said something about Israelites, so it sounded like I wouldn't necessarily. But I would say, I would be happy to live in an all-black society, yes. But on a second question that I'll add on quickly, would it be desirable to live in an all-black society? And I would say probably not. So I'd say, yeah, I'd be happy to live in one. I wouldn't necessarily desire to live in one, and I'll wrap it up there and let someone else jump in.
All right. Nice answer. All right, Preston, talk to me, King. Oh, man. All right, while we're waiting for Preston, I don't know if you're talking, but your mic is not on. If you are. Okay, so let me go over now to Abu Respect. Is there anything that you would like to add that's constructive?
Brother Reggie, the question is very simple, yes? If there is a country different color, you have a problem with that? You scared of the white man? Why you scared? This different color, man. God damn, Nick.
Okay, and again, I'm going to ask you guys to respect each other. Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to give you the opportunity to speak on this one. Go ahead, Reggie.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, Preston.
Oh, you can hear me now. Brilliant. Sorry, I don't know why my mute thing wasn't working properly. Sorry. I was just going to say the idea of living in a black society wouldn't be a problem for me because I grew up in an African country, which is a black society. Is that what you mean by asking if anyone would have a problem with that? Because most black Africans live in a black society, even though it might be controlled behind the scenes by white supremacy, but they live in a black society. So that's what I think.
Thank you. All right. Reggie, would you like to respond? All right.
Yes,
Never
sorry.
mind.
Yes,
Yeah, go
sorry.
ahead.
Okay. So, to do any of these things.
Oh, come on, bro, man.
Hey, see, Kalam, all I just said, to do any of these things, I get disrespected.
Sorry, I thought my thing was on mute.
Yeah, okay, so then be
And
more.
that was me thinking aloud.
Okay,
Sorry.
fine. You need a so you need a plan. You need a plan no matter where you live. Otherwise, if you do not have a plan, you are going to be oppressed by the people in power that may be super exploiting you. And so you do need a plan. I'll stop there. So, except for to have a plan, you have to have thought about what actually happened historically and where you are in this world now, and what access do you have to things like sovereignty, things like governance, things like economics, politics, and culture. I'll stop.
All right, all right. Okay, so I'm going to ask this question, okay? You know, it seems like, you know, Reggie has got his Black City plan, but I want to know, is there anybody else inside of our panels, members, okay, or in the audience as well, right, who has got a plan?
Yes.
Who has a plan
Yes,
for
I have.
nation building, community building? I'm going to open it up. Keep the mics muted for a hot second. I'm going to open it up, right? So it's going to be nation building and community building, okay? And it's not going to be restricted to simply Black plans, okay? But of course, you know, the focus is based upon the topic. It is Black, right? But if you are of another nationality or you just have a superior plan, please drop it. We'd like to listen. We'd like to hear it, okay? And whilst I've got you guys here, can I get you guys to please hit up the like button, show some love, support us. Sci-Fi Living's up in the building. Gabs is up in the building. Yeah, man. All right. So show us some love, show some support, hit up the like button, and let people know. Now, that being said, I'm going to go first of all to Carnane.
Yo, bro, I haven't even given my side of the story yet, you know, Kalam.
Easy. All right. So, Buddha, I'm going to get you after Carnane. I'm going to get you in. And I believe two.
Kalam. Yeah, Kalam, sorry, can I just ask for a favor respectively, bro? One of the brothers, I didn't really catch his name, said, I think it's probably appropriate to where the conversation's going now. So it might, I don't know, make sense for him to start with the solution. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. I hear you.
I don't know who that was. It might even be the brother that you said. So,
all right. So let's get it on and popping again. All right. So, we're gonna go to Carnane. Then we're gonna go to Buddha, and then we're gonna go to E, and then Claim. All right, because I believe E was the one who dropped it at the beginning. All right. So go on, Carnane.
Claim. It was Claim that initially.
Cool. Go ahead, Carnane.
Because we're talking about the Black City plan and Reggie bring that forward. So maybe I mentioned Reggie name, but it's nothing personal if I mention. Just to touch on certain points there. The Blacks, I agree with certain stuff, but with limitation. And I disagree with certain stuff that has been said. And the next thing, you know, and I also have a worry that when it comes to people of faith who is Black Christian and Black Muslim, they might be getting some cold shoulder and that affect whatever they might have to contribute to the Black City plan. You understand? And this is the worry right there. Now, regarding solution, we can get in the past and teach our children about history. I'm not knocking that. But we cannot delve too deep because at the end of the day, it doesn't fix no current problem where we are at the present and the impending plan that certain people that have against us now, that we know. It doesn't really change that narrative in what's in their blueprint. Like we hear stuff like to reduce the Black race by the use of science. You know, doesn't matter how much I tell my son in the history about the Kemet and all these things. I mean, what is a counter solution bucket if I have for the current plan that they have to reduce it through science? You see, you have to start thinking and making plans. And some of the solution is this though. So educate the children, but don't delve too much in anything there. Let them know the identity, yes, let them know that. But I don't see no infringement and contradiction with it when your children have the identity that is black identity and you want to praise the Most High. There's no contradiction. This is the that people keep making by conflating and causing a problem between the era. Teach your children to do physical activity. Teach them how to fight in self-defense. Teach them how to listen me now. Teach them how to go to the shooting range. If you're in America, teach them how to learn how to shoot. The white man know very well he's doing those things with his kids. I'm not saying they're gonna be offensive, but a time gonna come when it's gonna be crucial for them. Some of the Black City plan is that you can't disclose some of them online. And as you Reggie understand very well, some of them you can't disclose it. In some era, when I say agree with limitation, like for example in America, where you have majority white and majority, and you have multicultural, but mostly white and say you have black as well, where you can see a clear where the way that the oppression is, it forces people to kind of stick to each other already. Then sometimes there maybe you have to be a divorce when you can't wife. Sometimes they have to divorce, and it's the best thing to do. So you're gonna have that divorce sometime where you're gonna force to have that community. We already have it in little community, little segment area, even UK as well too. That happened by the natural default of the oppression, and people cannot take it no more. So I agree with that on some level, that you will have a black community where people are gonna force to live in. No, that's another level. The next thing, focus on Equal Right Act. Sometimes you have to take these people with the white, and I would say in the West where we live, and I'm talking establishment. No white person on the panel, don't get offended. The white established government is running, especially in the West where we live. They're in control of things. That's the reality of the matter. The majority of the prison where most of my black innocent brother and death row in is run by predominant white. Majority of the police who's killing the kids in America are predominant white. Majority of people who stop and search black kids in UK, they are predominant white. Majority of the people in the human resources in the public sector who stop in the 61% black and Asian community who do better than the 38% white community from getting a job, they are predominant white. Majority of the parliament, you see 98% white. The people who's guilty of the Windrush in work in home office, I have family who work in home office and they tell me directly over the phone, most of the people work here, they are young white and they don't know what they're doing. Yes? So I'm saying solution is, we focus on the Equal Right Act and we galvanize ourselves together, unite, whether we Christian, we Muslim, and the fact that we black. Stop let a person, stop offended my faith, so then we make it hard to work together. Because I'm not offended your chemic belief unless you flag me up. I deal with people certain way. Unless you flag me, you tag me, I tag you back. So it's just galvanized together so you have a big collective force. When you galvanize together now, then you live in a country, you're paying tax, then you have a right to have a lobbying power, and you focus on the Equal Right Act, and you don't beg people, no petition. You put it in their face that we demand equal level of in the public sector, equal number of space reserved for our race, since the society become multicultural. It should reserve. So we focus on that. And if we have to go in the street for that with a big power, because we're paying tax and we have a right to lobby and deserve that. When the Jewish man is lobbying, you see how they bully the government and get what they want. Because they're paying their money. So they bully them and lobby and get what they want. But I'm saying in a peaceful way, with wisdom and strategy. And even our school, the next thing, we cannot have the hierarchy in the school here. Nothing problem mixed, but we're gonna filter those things where they're going on. We're gonna point it out and we're gonna demand that change. In school, you have school where majority of children maybe in a black community area, and then the hierarchy system, like my kids go to the school, are 99% white. And these teachers, they don't understand the children background or dynamics. When the children they speak, they say what they're saying, they're asking us to say what they're saying. They don't understand. Okay, you want to be in a ruling seat over people that you don't understand them.
Yo, King, there's other people in the channel that want to chat, just to remind you.
Oh, sorry, Buddha, you can come on in. Sorry, man. I apologize. Sorry.
Right. Okay, so look, check this. First and foremost, would I like to live in a all-black society? No, I would not. Why? Because it'd be alien to me. Would I like to live in an all-white society? No, I would not, because that's alien to me. I've been born and bred in London, which is a multicultural society, and that's how I'd like to keep it. Black community. Now, we've got to look at two things, England and America. What works in America will not work in England and vice versa, okay? So with the greatest respect, what Mr. Reggie wants to build, I'm not sure that that template would be structured for a UK scenario. Building the black community. I'm a proponent of building the black community. I'll do anything within my power to build a black community. However, to build a black nation whereby you want to have your own navy, your own hospital, your own police, your own banking system, that will only breed sectarianism. It'll alienate other societies. So you'll find the Chinese will be trying to do the same thing. The Indians will be trying to do the same thing. The English white people try to do the same thing. And that's not going to be conducive of society. It'll just breed sectarianism. Transversely, I've heard white people that say they want to break away and start their own thing and do their own thing, be governed by themselves and have their own white-only neighborhoods and white-only societies. Do you know what? To them, I say, go and do it. You got my blessing, because I'd rather you go and do that than try and live amongst the multicultural society and breed your hatred. Now, if you're going to be black and say the same thing, I would say to you, you know what, go and do that, because it's not conducive of living within a multicultural society and breeding the same hatred. It's the same thing, but in a different color. Yeah, I want people to bear that in mind.
Jeez. All right. Who's next up on the panel? Who's
Mr.
next?
Claim.
Go ahead, King. Let's drop him bombs. Scared Mind, I see you.
All right, I have a sideboard mic. Am I clear?
Yeah. You're good. Since we're gonna be waiting.
Okay.
For you.
So, yeah, we got the title of it is "Buying Back Our Communities." I'd like to that I have inspired the Black City Plan. However, my plan is a bit different. So it's all inclusive to start off. Okay, all ethnicities are welcome. I want to call it a kingdom at this time, just for lack of a better word, but in our society governing structure. Okay.
You're cracking up. You're breaking up.
These locations.
Yeah.
See, that's going to be a problem. I'm going to have to concede my time for a better time when I have a better connection.
Yeah, my brother.
No transmission.
Still crazy right now. All right. In that being said, I know we've got B2 and we've got Scattered Minds. First person to unmute their mic and speak. It's the panel. Mic is yours.
Cool, I got it. I'm sorry, bro. I just want to jump in there and respond to a couple of points I heard. So yeah, earlier I said I wouldn't mind living in a black community, but I wouldn't necessarily find it desirable. So I want to elaborate on that in a little bit in response to, I think it was what Buddha was saying in regards to multiculturalism. I think the dynamic, right? So cool. So when I say I wouldn't mind it, I would say like I would think it would be relatively good. I think it would be quite nice actually if you could go live in a black society or black society, understand your culture.
Everyone hear me?
Sorry, bro.
Still robotic.
Yeah, I'll just carry on quickly. Sorry. So I think it'd be quite nice to live in a culture in which you understand everything and you're understood. You don't have to necessarily change yourself to fit in, or you don't necessarily have to sort of learn a new dynamic. And I think for most people who have sort of two cultures, they have to face that dynamic at some point of going into an office or going into some sort of building or society or part of society where they have to sort of adapt, talk differently, and make sure that they're being understood for that sort of place. And I think if you live in a society where you don't have that worry, it will make things a lot easier for you. You could get along with workplace banter and things like that a lot easier. However, what I would say I don't necessarily find desirable, because I think I'm somebody who likes cultural exchange. I like to learn new things. I like to meet new people, and so I don't mind actually having cultural exchange with people. But I don't necessarily. So when I say it's not desirable, I would say it's not desirable just to have a simple black community, all black. I wouldn't mind a black majority community. I wouldn't mind a black community that traded and worked with other communities. What I would find undesirable is a black isolationist community. But I think the brother Kalam was actually going to explain that the idea he had actually set out was more of a multicultural kingdom sort of idea. So I didn't get the idea properly. In response to some of the things that Buddha was saying, just quickly, and I'll wrap it up. I understand where Buddha's coming from. However, I think I disagree completely with the idea that Britain or where we live in right now is a multicultural society. I think that we have a lot of multiculturalism or multicultural aspects. However, I don't think necessarily, but when you, like I say, when you go to work, when you go to certain places, there is a predominant culture, and it's not necessarily one that is multicultural or that is embracive of all people's cultures. I think there's still a certain amount of you having to fit in with the normal culture of this country, which is, give or take. I'm not here to. Well, we're not going to debate on whether that's a good thing or a bad thing right now, but I think so I think it's fair for people to say, if they're living in that culture, that perhaps they want to look at a different culture, especially for the Black people of African descent who have come from a lineage of being oppressed by, the British system as it was during that time. It's fair enough, in my opinion, for them to say, I should have a right to sort of want to set up a system, a Black system alternate to this, in a similar ways that Jewish people set out the idea around Zionism and setting up a Jewish homeland for the Jews. And that was actually supported by the British government at the time and supported by many people in Britain still today. So it would be strange that you would support it. Well, not you necessarily, Buddha, but for Britain to support Israel in one sense, but wouldn't it support Black people wanting to do the same for themselves in this sense? Do you know what I mean? And yeah, just end up. On the other hand, I think when you hear white people or British people talking about creating white-only nations, not that it's a negative or a bad thing, that's completely fine, but the historical context in those situations are somewhat different. And I think we do have to deal with the idea or the reality that the British Empire went around the world and kind of showed the world about, told the world about itself. Look how great Britain is. You're so great. We're going to repeat Britain in your countries. You're all going to be little British people. And so, Britain in many ways created the multicultural society that it has now. So it does come across a bit strange when you do get white people saying, now we want no multiculturalism at all. Do you know what I mean? So the contexts are different, where you're dealing with one people who multiculturalism was imposed on, and other people who it was kind of their idea. Do you know what I mean? However, that's not to take away from, the validity of white British people wanting to have self-determination, because all groups of people have a right to self-determination. So yeah. Yeah, and to my brother Corain, I think I agree with a lot of your points, but I think if you're going to pay attention to people attacking Muslims or Black Christians, you need to just ignore them, because everyone knows you could be Christian and be a Pan-Africanist, or you could be a Muslim and be a Pan-Africanist, represent what you're representing, and that's it.
All right, so let's do this, baby. I got my brother Abul Rasbet El Rastafari, coming up, he's being the big man and saying, Times TV, brother, I apologize. I should speak nicely to brother Reggie. I just get angry at racism, man. All right, salute to you for, doing a big man thing, right? If we make mistakes, it's always good to, own up, fess up, and move on from it. So, family tree, all right? Can I get some love from you guys up in here? These days, you don't even want to shower me with no blessings, no likes, nothing. Not even saying, Times TV, love you. Times TV, another great panel with Buddha. Times TV, another great panel with Scad Myers. Times TV, another great panel with Reggie. Times TV, another great panel with E, etc., etc. Come on, family, man. Show some love. Show some love. Let's do this. All right. So Gabs, if you're still there, right, we've got one space that's just opened up for you. So come and claim your inheritance, like my brother Claim would say. Come on in, G. Come on in. I love that. Red Nose 20,000. I don't even know. I'm all doing dyslexia right now. All right, Joe Jones saying kiss kiss. Oh, fine, says Lady Saki. Let's do this. Let's see. I'm just gonna get some praise and blessings. You could do better. I believe in you. Woo-hoo! I like that. I like that. You know them neg comments there, but it's uplifting at the same time. Jeez. Yeah, I know them tricks there when you're playing with girls' hearts, right? Yeah, you look all right, man. I've seen you.
Time to test my mic. Testing.
Yeah. Your mic sounds like it's good. Also, right, I would like to change up the topic, hopefully in the next 10 minutes, right? And we could change it to something else unrelated to this topic. So at least we've had a diverse conversation tonight. So it's an hour so far, and we've been on Black nation building. All right. So let's try to move on to something else afterwards. All right. Claim your inheritance. Talk to me, G. Talk to me.
Okay, I got a better mic now, or nah. Is it good?
It's
Yeah, it's good. Go ahead.
Okay, great, perfect. All right, so starting off, with the objection of Cornane, the plan that I came up with is titled "Buying Back Our Communities." So I'm an Israelite, and we come from an Israelite perspective, which means that the Bible is our constitution. The nation itself is a multicultural nation. We accept all ethnicities. Of course, they have to keep the law, just like in any nation that they move to, anywhere on the earth. So that won't be a problem. And the economy and the trade will still be with other nations, but in order to be attractive to other nations trading with us, then we would have to accept other nations within our borders. So that's the gist of it. But it's like a 3-hour presentation, really. But you can just spout out any questions, and I do have answers.
My brother, can you knock that down to like an hour and 20-minute presentation?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So I would love for you to just message me, and we're gonna come back on and we do that topic whenever you're free next. And also, Preston, right? I ain't forget, right? We need to touch on how can I put it? Not slavery, but it's what is it called again?
Trokosi, Trokosi.
Yes, we need to touch on that. It's like we've been holding out for quite some time. So I'm just reminding you, and I'm reminding myself that we need to touch on that topic. Okay.
Okay, thanks. I'll do that.
All right. I got locked out the show. Too many guests. Oh yeah, somebody took your spot, Reggie. God damn. All right. So we ain't had Brother Gabs in for like the whole show. So Brother Gabs, talk to me.
Well, what's happening? What's happening? Peace. What's happening to the panel? You good? Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah. Blessings, Gabs.
Yes, Gabs. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. What's happening? Just quickly. I wanted to chime on this whole nation building, community building stuff. To me, what was I gonna say? My point of view is funny when we talk about Black communities and nation, because I'm always thinking, what are we actually saying? What are we actually trying to do when we're saying we want to build our nation and community? Because what is the root basis? Like, what is the what's the say? What can I say? What's the root? What we all gonna come under? Do you understand? Because like what one of the other brothers mentioned earlier, you have Black people in the community who are Israelites. You have Muslims. You have Buddhists. People say Kemits. After that, people that just deal with that, and then you have your atheists. So what's gonna draw us all under this one nation, and what's gonna be the main structure? Because at some point there's gonna be issues again, underlying issues that's gonna pop up. You might have a Muslim that don't really want to adhere to the laws of an Israelite and certain things. So I'm always trying to find out exactly what's gonna be the main thing that draws us together, and also this nation that we speak of. Where is that going to be? Is it something that we want to build in the Western world, in Britain, in UK, in America? Where is this going to be? Where's the hub or the base? Where is that going to stem from? Because that's going to play another part as well. Getting people to migrate to this new place, and why should they move over there? What's beneficial for them coming over there and joining this nation? So if anybody, that's just back out there to anyone. If you want to,
yeah, I got quick answers to those.
Hold on.
I'll let Podcast go first.
Hold on. Meet your mics, Simon. Meet your mics. I know my brother B2, he's been trying to get in. So B2, and then I'm going to go to you, Claims. Go ahead.
Blessings, bro. I'm not going to take long. I'll be quick. But the way I see the nation building, and some of it answers Gab's question. But if we're calling it Black nation building, I think it's fair to assume the thing that would come under is black. And I understand there's still issues under that because as a terminology, not everyone subscribes to that within the community. I get that. And also the way families are so complex and human behavior is complex now, our relationships are definitely gone cross borders, and that can't be denied and that can't be isolated. That is what it is. Now, the way I see it, it's not so much, at least not in the immediate instance, it's not so much about relocating, because even I think the brother, what's his name? Karnin, or the brother with the hat. I think he mentioned like black people can move to a place and left to their own devices, they will still be the product of their own problems. Do you understand? So we do have issues that we need to address. Now, if we just move to a place or whatever, those things don't automatically get addressed. We have to work towards that. In the immediate instance, I see it as we do nation building within the locations we're already at. There's an advantage point to being widely spread out, and there are disadvantages to being isolated, as one of the other brothers said in the chat earlier. I feel like we need to do it where we are. I feel we need to come together, not always in the public arena. In fact, we probably need to do more coming together away from the public arena. And by that, I just mean we need to control what it's looking like outwardly while we're still trying to go through the teething problems, if you like, and we worked out how to coordinate ourselves and what our presence looks like. I feel, yeah, we just need to do it where we're at. That's my input on that one.
Perfect. Love that. All right, Scott. No, sorry. Claim your inheritance. Go ahead.
Yeah, can we repeat the question?
Jeez, I don't know about the question. You know, I'm off asleep. I'm sorry. Scott might know.
Can I respond to what that brother said?
You know, I'm paying attention. Shark Gabs, I hear you, mate. I think you're making some trouble there because you know the answer to some of them questions, but you want to make sure all of us in here are clear on them questions. So I think, from my perspective, what we're talking about when we discuss nation building is the people of African descent, black people, that is what they're talking about. The nation that we're probably talking about directly, for me personally, I wouldn't take it, like you're saying, I couldn't take it from an Israelite perspective, like you're saying, that would cause too many issues. And I think we'd have to move it away from taking it from any religious or one sole religious perspective and go to more philosophical perspective and actually use more the basis of some of our best black and African philosophers, going all the way back to some of the philosophers from Kemet, all the way up to the more recent philosophers of Marcus Garvey, and actually combine some of those philosophies into making our new political philosophy or constitution, as it were. And we need to rework that and rewrite that as it is today. In terms of where do we start, I think you have to start right where you are. You have to work within the community immediately around you, work with the people you have around you, build up your wealth economically, invest back home, invest as much as you can, try to create, lobbying groups, political think tanks, and actually hire people whose job it is professionally to actually think about the political structure of the society that is you're going to create. So we're not just talking about some sort of pie in the sky sort of idea, but actually got full-on structure to how economic structures to how your economics going to run and all of these things. And it's actually going to, like I'm saying, I believe it's Africa as a continent. And as Africa as a continent, that's 50 different nations plus the Caribbean islands. And I think we could all actually work together if we all actually, as individual black people, work together here in the UK, in the West, and actually focus on our home islands and building those up, paying attention to who our political leaders are back home, and trying to actually pressure our countries back home to change the politics into a way that's going to advance us. So yeah, sorry. Does anyone else jump in?
Yeah, I was just going to continue with that. That's something we're already doing in this country. Other communities have been doing it for decades. The Indians, the Bangladeshis, the Jews. Black people having their own community, supporting themselves, does not necessarily mean that we will be attacking other communities. We can look at the examples of the Black Americans in the 1920s in Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma. They had this done successfully with Black Wall Street. In Rosewood, they also had it, though those communities were destroyed by massacres, they actually achieved it where they had their own banks. They were lending money to their own people. Their own people were able to start businesses. They had schools. That's one of the things we'd have to concentrate on. I think the Rastafarians and the Nation of Islam already do that, where they have homeschooling, where children are being brought up to learn more about their culture and have pride in their culture. So that's already going on. So it's not a far-fetched idea. I live in a community where I walk down the street and I see estate agents, which are specifically designed for helping Japanese people get houses. And the people who work in those estate agents are all Asian. So this stuff already goes on with other communities. So it's not a far-fetched idea, and Black people could do it. The Black Americans did it in the 1920s for a while before it was destroyed, but it can be done.
Can I just quick?
Yeah. If I can get repeat the question.
What Gab says, if you know. So
Everybody's throwing out so many ideas that my mind is racing. I missed the premise of the question.
Yeah, if you could repeat the question, because I missed it, that would be helpful for me.
Gab, can I just jump on something? What I want to Gab's ask a question. I think no one will answer what Gab said. Can I just really?
Yeah, go ahead.
And actually, the question Gab's asked, my answer is not so much I've said, is more like he initiate a solution that comes to me quickly. And that's why I like this is very beautiful panel where, sometimes solution come instantly when people propose something. Gab's asked if we get a Black community together, you're gonna have also many different people who have different beliefs and stuff like that, and way of life that they subscribe to. Then what you can do inside that big Black community, you have sub community where you don't deprive the people of those community of power, and you allow them judge, you allow people to judge their own affairs by what they believe in. But at the top of things, at the top, you best to have like an individual from all of those community who have a share in the top government of that community decision. But in those subheading, you make different subheading community where people judge their affairs by what they believe in, and you have mutual respect going across. So and that does affect mutual movement between Black community going across. But people understand when I go over to the Israelite community, I must understand it, and I prepare to go in the community to abide by what they're ruling by. Otherwise, if I don't want to, then I don't go.
Yeah, I agree with you, brother. Sorry, just jump in. I'll just make this one very quickly. I agree with what you're saying, bro. But I think sometimes when we discuss these things, sometimes we think perhaps too far ahead in terms of the society we're going to have, and also think too much about perhaps our own perspectives. I think the majority of the Black community out there aren't necessarily Israelites, Muslims, or Christians or anything like that, and they're actually going to intermingle. And so really, you having a mosque is just that. You're going to have your mosque. As a Black Muslim, you're going to be able to go to your mosque like myself. I'll come mosque with you. We'll be able to chill. And I think we should have more Black mosques. There's Bangladeshi mosques, there's Pakistani mosques. So why there more Black, African, and Caribbean mosques? Maybe we should have more of that. But I don't think that's necessarily the main of what we need to concentrate on or focus on when it comes to the community. I think having a secular political system which has just plain laws that everyone could follow regardless of religion is fine, as long as we're not trying to impose on anyone saying, oh, you're Black, a Muslim, you can't be part of this, or you're Black or you're Christian, you can't be part of it. I don't think anyone would do that within that society. Do you know what I mean? So I think we don't even need to worry. As long as you can go to your mosque, you're cool. And as long as a Christian can go to his church, he's cool. And as long as the Israelites can go and do their Israelite thing, they're cool. Like,
about the podcast, I was on Gab. I think Gab question. I think you missed Gab's question. Gab's also answered the question. Gab question, and Gab's correct me if I'm wrong. I understand you mean in a small. You're talking about a Black community in a smaller scale, like you'd have a Black answer and are somewhere in the mix of a white dominant. Blacks is I think Gabs is talking about if we move to a different country and we show it's 100% Black.
Well, Gab's asked how, innit? And what I'm trying to explain is like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I think that's what Gabs. I don't know. I think that's what he meant. His question meant, anyway, in the era.
Gab, let's bring Gab.
See, can I say something? Yeah, I feel like, say, imagine a house, yeah, and like there's different rooms in the house, yeah. Just like you got your own room in it, yeah. You can do what you want in your own room in it, and the next person can do what they want. Like you don't have to go into a next person's room and say, "Yo, like I don't like the paint on your walls." Just don't go in there and leave them do what they want to do. You see what I'm saying? I think on the nation building, it's important to find common ground and also understanding the acceptance in it, like and trying to avoid conflict in it between ourselves in it with things that is not really important, not important in it. Say for example, our religious beliefs might be important to us in it, but it's not. It shouldn't be important to us. Other people's religious beliefs in it, not so much, not more important than being accepting and understanding of people that we're trying to build with. That's what I think personally in it.
Hello. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah.
Great. This is good, and you know, yeah, it's funny. The reason why this is good, yeah, this is another reason why I posed the question like that to see how we will respond in a panel and how everybody puts in their ideas and stuff. And
what was the question?
I think it was a long question that I had. I'm not even gonna lie, it was a few. It was basically, it was basically, what is the nation? What is it that we're trying to create? What is this nation? What's it going to consist of? And how are we going to move to this? What's going to be the root thing that draws us together? Because, like I said, we have brothers, we have black brothers and sisters who are Muslims, Christian, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, possibly Sikhs, African spiritualists, philosophies, and atheists. And I'm trying to understand how are we going to come together under this one nation, this umbrella. And it's good what the brother said earlier about, imagine a house and you have different rooms in a house and everybody, one person's in their room and, they abide by their room rules. But remember, you still have the house rules that you have to follow. What's going to be those house rules that governs them rooms anyway? Because you still need that main structure of the house. Who's coming into the house before you even get to the rooms. So my thing is, the reason why I find it very tricky, especially with us, is because, we're still suffering and, well, not suffering, still suffering, but slightly coming out of post-traumatic slave syndrome and all these other things that's happened to us. And we're slowly trying to push for something. You can see we got all these ideas. We're trying to strive for something. We're on the right track, but it's just trying to unify under what, because the underlying issue is that, we still have a major... what's the word? Religious identity in the black community, where you have a majority of us who are Christians, a majority of us who are Muslims, a few atheists, a few Buddhists, and a few African spiritualists. And our main thing is what's going to push us under one umbrella. What are we going to unify under? Are we
But is being black not enough?
But what is that? Because this is the thing. When you're saying being black, that's the thing. When you say isn't being black enough, what is that? Because if you say that to a black Muslim, is it being black enough? They say black speak. What are you talking about?
We're talking about the folks who are called niggas by white
I think
people.
if you're black, do you know what man's talking about?
Yeah. Black is not an ethnicity in society. Okay.
So to answer your question, answer.
Hold on, you already answered.
I think I answered the question exactly, but I think you missed it. Like when the brother give the house, is the same answer he give as me, but he retracts.
Let Claim speak. We've spoken a lot now. Let Claim speak.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so now that I understand the question, all right. The first, what do you call it? The first thing that you really had a concern with was how the people would even be attracted to the society. Okay, so any country that anybody wants to move to, or any city that anybody wants to move to, they're attracted to it by the quality of life. So the quality of life includes access to jobs, access to resources, access to ability to create your own businesses and create your own art and things of that nature. Okay, so those access to resources, the nature, what type of natural activities can I go jump off a waterfall if I wanted to, things of that nature. So that is what will attract people to the community that me and my crew are building. Okay, so when you get there, there's the standard that you're asking about is the constitution of any land. And so, as I stated before, our constitution is the Bible.
Gabs, in response to what you're saying, yeah, like I think in every nation or every house in it, not everybody is gonna accept how the living is in it. So I think really and truly what we need to do is come together and come with the commonalities in it, and like Lord, that we can generally accept in it.
Exactly.
So it needs to be reasonable, and we need, like, it's not going to be easy in it. There's going to be a lot of sleepless nights and disagreements, but at the end of the day, like yesterday, yeah, I was talking with my missus, and my brother we was all talking, and then she was like, I was like, yeah, we agree on a lot of things, and she asked me, she's like, how is it though when you disagree? And what I said to her is like, really and truly, when we disagree, we just work on a solution in it. We, like, at the end of the day, for me, like, it's more important to both of us that we move forward than anything, that we move forward together in it. So whatever happens, if you're really concerned about nation building, I think we can put things to the side in it. And the people that can't put the things to the side, but like, you know, maybe they're not ready to join the nation in it. Like, it's still going to be open to them, but at the beginning, you know, they should just stay where they are in it. Why not?
Yes, sorry.
Gabs, can I just touch on the point regarding Gabs and what the brother claim came in and says so it's very clear to me now. Gabs asks a question, and Gabs thinking of all different black people, whether it doesn't matter where they are. But see, in the nation building that the brother claim put forward is clearly clearly one is that we only if you only hear for black people that believe in the Bible. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? And me, so look at me, I'm a Muslim, I believe in the Quran, but even my answer to Gab's question was even more fair. And I think people miss what I'm saying. It's the same as what the brother said with the old stuff, but I went a bit further, where that was just a reduced version. I said, in that black community where you get all these people together, Muslim, Christian, Jews, Hebrew, Israelites, the head establishment that govern the whole area, like for the house, like what Gabs asked. It got to be people from all different community with a balanced percentage will have equal power, equal say. That is the establishment. Then within the other people now who's underneath that establishment, you give them, you don't deprive them of power. You make them form their own community, and you give them the power to judge by their Bible in their community. Hebrew Israelites, the King James Version, you give the Kemet to judge by what they want in their own community. So I think that would work perfectly well. But and then that doesn't affect freedom of moving across. It doesn't affect freedom of moving across. But when someone's gonna move across, you have to understand. Going to a Hebrew Israelite society today, they're ruled by the King James Bible. So I'm gonna go and keep that in mind, have knowledge of what they're ruled by, and don't violate their principle when I go there.
100%. Shall I tell you what? I'm gonna agree with you, Carl9. I'm gonna say your way is definitely, in my opinion, better than the idea presented by the brother Claim. I do appreciate and respect the brother Claim, but I do think, like you're pointing out, and the point you've made, that if he's going to go exclusively by the Bible, he's going to exclude a lot of the African and black community out there, the African Caribbean community, as I like to, or the African American and so on community will be excluded if you're only going to go by the rules of the Bible. So go back to Gabs. Maybe my perspective, and to my brother E Black, I've got a similar perspective about you of the house, but maybe it's my perspective of having studied politics at university and coming from a political background. That for me, I feel like one of the main issues amongst the black community is a lot of the time is we are very mystified. And so when we start thinking about nation building, a lot of the time we start bringing in all of these kinds of things into it, which are all good and nice. And if you look at European and Western society, they formed around the Bible and the divine rights of king, and the divine rights of king eventually got whittled away, and liberalism was formed through philosophy. And I'm saying, yo, we could actually, smart is to learn from your mistake, wise is to learn from the mistakes of others. We could look at history and say, okay, cool, we could go through the whole religious phase, or we could just skip that. We could take great philosophies from religion, but we also know that Imhotep and some of those writers from ancient Egypt had some great philosophies. We also know Marcus Garvey and some of those guys had some great philosophies. So let's remove the religious ideas out of it completely, and let's have a secular political law system of law, and let's vote and have leadership. And like you say, like the brother E Black was saying, when we don't disagree, we do like what we do here when we don't agree. You know, we vote, and then when we don't get the government we want, we accept it for 5 years and we vote again and try and get a new government. That's life. You can't always win. Do you know what I mean? And I think we are capable of doing that in Africa. I mean, I don't think democracy is a foreign concept to Africans. I think we've been voting and choosing leaders for a very, very long time. So I think our democratic system would obviously look different. Our constitution would look different. Our structure, our law, how we incorporate religion within all of that would look different to how they do it in Europe. But to dismiss it out of hand as impossible when the European Union has been achieved, and the European Union, I believe, is actually formed after the Organization of African Unity. I think it's to dismiss our own abilities of African people. We can completely come together on political levels and sign political treaties and these types of things. We don't have to always take it down to religious, mythical thing where I'm an Israelite and you're an Israelite, and so we can't get along, and all this random stuff that really only matters in certain people's heads. Do you know what I mean? And that's where I'll leave it.
Can I ask a question quick? With this whole thing as well, with this main hub nation, like what Kwanin was saying, you know, you have the main people that sit on the top. In this nation, I'm guessing we're gonna have a set of laws, right? What are going to be the laws, or you know, the laws that this black nation has that sets their standards under? What morality are we using? The reason why
Gabs, on the top, like I said to you, on the top, yeah, you got the head in here, like you're talking about the top, but that head in that top is made up of representative from the subhead in different community, and up there everyone got equal number of people up the top, as if they're lobbying and representing for their people. So up top, those people have to decide of a mutual and an equal level of presenting things for the subheading community, which is separated in their area that they want to be in, and in their area, that's when they will just rule over them in their area. Like, so not on the top, the Quran is not going to rule at the top, but in the Muslim community, you're not going to deprive power of them. You're going to give them the power to do so in their community that they mingle. And in the Hebrew Israelites community, you give them the King James Bible to do so. The Kemet, whatever Kemet ruling is in their community, you give them the sub-heading constitution to do so. But at the top, they have their representative in equal number that lobbying for them. Do you understand that, Gabs?
Yeah, but then to me, do you know what that sounds like? But that sounds like basically, you know, the black Muslims have their own community and their representative from it. The Israelites have their own community. The atheists have their own representative from their community. And then you have the representative, they come together to this main hub to discuss what? Because, you know, there's going to be issues and situations in the Muslim community that the Israelites don't have in their community. Then there's going to be issues in the atheist community that the Muslims and the Israelites don't want to hear. Do you see what I'm saying? So what is going to be the main, for the hub, the representative just going to the main board, the main head nation? What is going to be the morality of laws that we...
Can I ask you a question?
No, the main board,
It's main board Sorry. Gabs, yeah? If you had to, yeah, how would you answer your own question?
This is, yeah, I'm glad that to be fair, I've been waiting for that, you know? And it's good because these are the things that just come into my mind because I've spent time, you know, looking around at the state of black people, like the majority of us have, and not just black people, everybody can see the state of us. And, you know, we've gone through years of speaking of nation building and doing this and doing that. It's like, me personally, I'm always like thinking, but I have these conversations with Brother Kalam. So we've had these conversations before, and I'm like, how are we going to do this? What's going to draw us together? Because, you know, when you see the way we are, you know, we got some stubborn people in our community. We got some people that are open. We've got all these different personalities, and especially when it comes to the topic of with religion, which is a major thing in our community. It's like trying to draw all these minds, these religious different minds, these strong-minded people into one nation and getting them to agree on certain things. There's even little small things like family members that we can't even agree on. So me personally, how I would answer the question is kind of on the same way what his name? Podcast. What is it? Is it podcast? Yeah, podcast. He said earlier when he was talking about going back and looking at the
Scared
old.
mind, baby, scared mind.
Oh, so that's Skyman. Sorry. I just looked at your picture.
Yeah.
Minds. Yeah. What he was saying about looking at the old, philosophers and the way they did things in Africa. I won't even mention ancient Kemet because that might even throw some people off when you say Kemet. But yeah, the philosophy of ancient Africa and trying to pick out, things in those systems in a way we was doing things in Africa and try and build on that and try and use it in this modern day, because we have to try and modernize it. We have to look at those things and try and adapt it to the situation that we're in now. And I think that would be the main thing. But the main thing, like another brother mentioned earlier, he said there's a lot of things that we need to sort out. And I was going to ask him, like, what things is that? These are the key things. What are these situations and things that we have to sort out beforehand? What is it to do with? Is it to do with? Is it the religion? What is it to do? Is it what are these key things that we need to sort out and iron out before we can jump into this whole nation?
What you're gonna have to iron out is the law.
That's the
thing. Standard is the law.
The law. That's why I said, and that's why I said, what is going to be the main morality law? What's going to be the law that we choose and we set the tone with? What's the foundation? What we ironing out? What we agreeing on?
Sorry, before we even go that far, I mean, we're talking about a mythical society that's going to have laws. We haven't even looked at the basics. How are we going to get this land to build this community on? We haven't even talked about that. All this talk about who's going to be at the top and what religion is going to be ruling what is utterly pointless. You need to get the land.
Hold on, wait, brother.
Bro.
You get into that. Before you get into that's why I answered. One of my questions I said is, where is this going to be? Remember, I said that. I said, where is this nation? Where are we saying? Is it going to be in the Western world, Great Britain? Is it America? Is it Africa? Is it India? Where is this land that you're talking about?
I got the answers, baby.
No. Let me tell you where our the ones we're okay. So the ones we're building, we have one in Ghana, and we're galvanizing, mobilizing people in the United States to create unity in each continental United States. So that's 48 communities simultaneously within 2 years. So you got the United States and one in Ghana.
Calm. That's positive. For the Israel,
we already have the land in Ghana.
That's good. But I just want to agree with my brother Witness for a bit in terms of, I do think sometimes we do move quite fast with these things, but I do agree that Gabs did actually raise some of these questions, and I think we're at an appropriate point to actually, like you say, law, not necessarily the laws that are going to govern a country, because like you say, we need to form a country first. But I think what I would set out personally of how we do this is that we set up an organization here in the UK, and people in the US set up an organization. And so in order for us to set up this organization, not necessarily would we need laws, but we need a constitution and some aims and goals that and a vision and a political ideology that organization runs by. For example, the Jewish Board of Directors here in the UK are a Zionist body. They use their funds to support Israel and to further the ideas and Israel, for example, which, to give or take from that. So I'd say we'd want to set up similar bodies here to further what I would put across right now. And I say, Pan-Africanism, which is the furthering of Black people, African people of all kinds of across the world, basically, as well as the African continent and the nation as itself. And so we use our money and our finances, our funding to actually put into power in those countries political people who agree with our philosophy. But so the question is not necessarily creating a body of law that could run a country, but to create a political philosophy which we can all agree on that could unite us as people, whether we're Black Muslims, Black Christians, Black Israelites, or whatever. Basically, we need to create a political philosophy separate from religion, which draws upon the good of the religions that we have, yes, draws upon the good of the ancient philosophers we had and the modern philosophers we had. And if you actually read Sheikh Anta Diop, Gabs, I know you probably had, innit? But for other people, just to back up what you were saying earlier, Gabs, is that Sheikh Anta Diop put that across in terms of when we look back at Kemet, we should look back in the same way that Europeans look back at ancient Greece and ancient Rome. And if you go to university, you don't do any subject where your first introductory lesson isn't them telling you how some great Greek or some great smart Roman came up with this idea couple hundred years ago, whatever it is. So we need to look back to our old philosophers ourselves and form our body of thoughts and our bodies of philosophy off of the ancients that we have in our own cultures.
Yeah, I agree with that. That makes a lot of sense. I just wanted to say, how are you going to build, not to you, Scattered Minds, I'm just curious, how are you going to build Hebrew Israelite society in Ghana, in a country that already has its system, which was built on colonialism? I mean, what happens if there's a military dictatorship or a military coup? That's not a far-fetched idea in an African country. And even if there isn't a military coup, you're building a community within a system that is already corrupted by colonialism. How is your community going to survive?
Okay, so we're already there. We got 1,000 acres of land in Ghana, so we can deal with the coups and all those type of mishaps and what ifs as they arise. You see, so I wouldn't really know how to answer hypothetical question. I don't really entertain those.
No, military coups is a reality in African countries. I mean, if you look at Ghana's history, it's not exactly a far-fetched idea, military dictatorship. And every African country has been colonized, so the system is actually a corrupted colonial system. So that's going to affect your community.
Okay, well, that's where we have our military and all that stuff already set up to defend ourselves.
Can I speak? I think
Sorry, there was something you said. You already have a military section, did you say?
Of course.
The Hebrew Israelites have a military force.
Yeah, let's leave that, man. I think, what you want to know
Yeah,
about
of course.
the man?
Yeah. Of course, every male over 20 is required, kind of like South Korea and North Korea, to be a military personnel. Every man over 20, every able-bodied man over 20.
I think that's the bit you don't need to be saying right now. To be honest, my brother, my Hebrew Israelite brother, you don't know my Muslim, you don't really agree on many things. But I mean, no one should be. That's your business. You want to have a military thing. You have to be careful. The authors, those things, like, you know what I mean? Because you don't know objective. I'm not saying nothing wrong with my brother witness. I'm not saying nothing like that. But you're in a public and something like that. And like I said, the brother have a point where it's like if you do business of a SWAT, if you're gonna start a business of SWAT, you look at your weakness, yeah. And you cannot deny the fact that external would just want to come and modern day colonizers want to come and interfere in your business because they know it's like that. That's just a reality. You have to look at those weaknesses of when you farm your stuff. I mean, everyone. I think I'm still onto the point where I think you work properly because what I was saying, Gabs, is that the power is not so much at the top. The top is giving the power to the subheading community without infringing at them to let them rule, judge the people by what they believe in. Let the people that judge their faith what they believe. You give them the power in their subheading in their Muslim community, the Hebrew Israelite community. They do them stuff. But at the top level, those people don't really have no power. Not like a democracy. Those people don't really have no power. But what they have, they're representative from those community that go up there to make you see that they come to get their fair share and what they deserve. That's the best way you have to do it, man. Because if you say you're gonna get you might get if you want to get one system, then those subheading community says, I don't agree with that one system over me. The Hebrew Israelites can says, I don't agree with that one system that you form. I don't agree with that one secular system that you form over me. Because when you say, okay, no, take them away from their religion, you say take the person away from his belief in his God. As you're gonna say, who's the head for that one system? And no God? Is it if people gonna disagree, who's the head for that? And you're gonna feel a sense of, okay, then no, I don't want that to be I don't want the devil to be my head. I mean, who is the head of that system up the top there? I'm not saying making no one the head. I'm saying giving equal power up the head, and it's just a representative, like in a court, a lobbying voice for the interests of the best of their community. And you keep things equal percentage on every level. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, hey, but I think I don't know what's frustrating me a little bit is that I feel like Conan, you're responding to the Israelite brother. Like the Israelite guy is out there and he's doing his thing and he's setting up his Israelite community, whether we like it or not. He's got his money, he's got his land or whatever, and he's doing his thing. Whether it's going to be successful, whatever those things is, I wish the best for him. Black people trying to do good for themselves is always good for me, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean?
I'm defending him, brother. I'm defending him.
You and me don't have to live in that.
I was defending him.
You
Brother, I
and
was defending him. Sorry.
One second,
Let's
bro.
say something right there. I was warning him, don't speak certain thing in public here.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that. When you went on,
I was passionate brother. I was looking out for the brother. Please.
When you do everything legally, there's nothing to fear.
I know, bro. I mean, that's what I'm
saying. Envy. Military and militias get together and try to shut down what you're doing, but we already have our own militia and military in place, because every male over 20 is prepared to destroy anybody that gets in the way of us.
I got that. And that's what I was trying to explain, is that the Israelite brother is doing his thing. He has his community set up. He has his military defense. I'm saying that, Carnan, you put across quite a few times that you don't think the Israelite way is going to work because it's only representing for one people. And you have your alternate method. Do you know what I mean? And your alternate method, in my opinion, doesn't sound too different to what myself or what E Black has put across or have said. We've all said that we should create some sort of a body where all different communities are able to come together. The only difference is I've argued with you directly on the idea of why it should be so religious focused as you are making it in terms of Islamic communities, Christian communities, when the majority of Black people don't really necessarily organize themselves into communities like this. So that would be my only dispute with you. But I would say that you, me, Gabs, and E Black have all more enough in common to actually start moving past petty differences and start discussing how can we create a constitution and a law to create an organization to bring about the idea of a wider Black community, helping to build up our own homelands in a way that the Israelites are already doing for themselves. So rather than us picking out at the Israelites or putting out their plans, why don't we come up with some plans of our own? You get what I'm saying?
But can I say one thing, my brother? Let's I find this allegation, and I just beg you respect for me to answer, because and I think maybe you misunderstand what I said. I never pick an Israelite for the stuff. In the first instant, when God put the narrative about, okay, we all in the same community, but we came from different background. The Israelites brother says the head constitution would have been the Bible. Then I address that issue. That other people, that don't want the Bible rule over them, gonna have a problem with that. The atheist Black guy gonna have a problem with
already
that.
being ruled by the Bible.
I was picking at him in the first instant. I was being realistic and be balanced.
I get that. But now I'm saying let's move on to the point where we're talking about our
the
laws of
let me defend myself. And I don't think it's
defending yourself is one thing. Rehashing the whole thing again when everyone can hear it. They can
but if you
and we can all make up our minds, bro. Like
hold on, just give me a second to address that. Because the laws that the nations that you live in are currently heavily regulated by the Bible, and they have Quranic laws in them already. So every country that you go to is already heavily regulated this way.
Yeah, for sure. We're not disagreeing on that point, bro.
So you're living in those countries without much of an issue with the law, other than the minor issues that oppress certain people, right?
Obviously, the problem with already on the panel right here is a man tell a lie and another Black brother slander him, says he attacks someone. I did not attack no one. I did not attack the Israelites, brother. The first instant, the mother. Brother, the example, let me finish the point I'm saying. Gabs talk about the mother when we are there. And the Israelites brother says, and that community, the head will be the Bible. Then I says, no, that wouldn't be fair for someone else of the Black people who is maybe different from the Israelites in those communities. That's not an attack. Now, the second case is that I said, no, when the brother says, and said we already got our witness, we already got to witness, he said, we already got our military. I was more like saying, my brother, we're from the streets. Be careful what you say on the social public media. That's not an attack, that's looking out for him.
All right, cool. All right, brother. You had your chance to say that. I'm just saying, like, people could have rewinded you and heard you say that exact same thing 5 minutes ago, and you waste a lot of time when you do this, and you repeat yourself just to make yourself recollect. And I'm saying, 1 second, because what you've done is you focusing on one thing, and you ignored the whole part of where I was saying you, me, E-Black, and Gabs have a whole lot more in common in what we see for the black community. So why would you focus on the negative and ignore the positive of how we could actually build together?
I understand what you say, but it's the slander that you just put
I think this is the main issue in the black community is that we like to focus on the negative too much and not the positive. So let's put it negative aside, let's focus on the
slander man. If you slander man, is gonna be himself. If you slander, is gonna.
I apologize if I slandered you. I'm sorry if I offended you. Now let's move on. Now, grown folk business. Let's move on to the actual, black community. Because you're saying that you want to do this thing of religious committees. Right, I'll put across to you that I don't think that will work. But how can we make something work here in the UK and beyond for black people? And what do you think about the idea of removing religion out of it?
I agree with it. We just stick to economics and social issues. We'll have more success that way.
So other brothers said removing religion out of it. What do you guys think? Brothers on the panel who are coming from a religious background.
What's meant by that?
Well,
so, like,
I wholly take it. I wish you the best, but people have attempted to remove religion since forever. And even though the nations that you live in today claim to be separate from religion, each one of them go to church and do whatever else they do. They are
democracy is a religion.
In reality. You see, scattered minds. See, this was my point that you're saying. You see, that question that you threw out is basically what I was trying to get at, and this is the reason why I threw that in the mix of what's the underlying thing that we're unifying on. It's fine and dandy that we're saying, yeah, let's get the land and and all this, but it's still gonna come down to the law of that land and the morality that we have in that land. Because even when you look back, like you said, you look back in some of our ancient African communities, it was the law of the land that the peoples had. People can come in, but they still had to abide by the law of the land, because we got to know how, if people are coming in, are they abiding by the law? So when you're saying remove religion, most of the brothers and sisters that's in these different religions have their laws that's set up by their religion. So it's going to be tough now to try and get them to break away from their laws and set up some laws that you say, listen, just for now, just adhere to this, just for the state of the nation. It's going to be tough, because remember, some of our people in the black community, these laws are detrimental to them because this is based on their afterlife.
But to be fair, Gav, though, like, a lot of people now live in nations that don't put their religious laws first and are able to deal with it.
Ghana does. Ghana doesn't rely on religion. Yes, the people are Christian, but they have traditional religions. The thing that you would have to look out for is the law, the legal system.
Okay.
I think, brother, I'm thinking the best way you can do that is that the power is not at the top, the power is at the subheading. That's where the religious law become active for the people in their specific community. That's the only way it's gonna work, brother. I'm telling you. At the top is not really so much of people having power there, and it's good. But you have equal number from the Hebrew Israelites. You got, for example, you got 5 people up there. Muslim, they got 5 people up there representing for the people, for the community. And then the Hebrew Israelites, the religious ruling will be active on the subheading, just on the community base. You have this example now. It's only gonna be active on the community base. That way it functions properly, and you don't infringe and tell them, so okay, then no, don't do this, don't that. When you go to the Hebrew Israelite community and the subheading base, you don't tell them, okay, they don't apply the King James Version. You leave them to do that, and you respect what they do. But on the top level, they will have members from for example, from the Hebrew Israelite community, lobbying for the people regarding trade dealings between the community, movement. They will have certain rules that make regarding movement, trade dealings, certain treaties that when you go into a community, or should you operate, naturally you have to go into, when you go into a community, if I'm a Muslim, and we have our own current society, and when I go into a Hebrew Israelite community, I will understand very well, okay, no, this guy ruled by this, I understand what the rule, I'm ready to deal with that ruling when I go over to that community, so I don't violate it. That's the best way you could run, brother.
I think it's the best.
Yes, gentlemen, can I just jump in and interject there?
Yes, please.
To be real, look at this, right? You guys can't even agree on a conversation about the issue. How realistic is it to be set up? Second part question I'd like to ask. We're talking about Black Nation, Black Nation, Black Nation. What are those of mixed heritage, such as myself? How do we fit into this whole scenario?
Depends how you identify, bro.
Sorry, go ahead, E-Back.
Yeah, first and foremost, yeah, like we a lot of us on the panel on it, like we don't know each other in it. So I think with a lot of things it would take time for us to agree on things, innit? And I think it's all about working it out, innit? Like right now we having a conversation and we haven't some of us anyway haven't really worked out what we want to do and looked into it, done all the research and it, done our due diligence. So it's easy to disagree on such things, isn't it? But I think if we was to really come together and if we had to, innit, like if we had no choice, innit, it was like, okay, make this Black Nation or everyone is gonna die, I think we could do it. So I don't think it's about whether we can, innit? I just think it's about motivation and yeah, effort. And on the second one, yeah, like I think it depends on what you identify. You would be accepted into it, like whether you want to identify as a member or not is would be down to yourself.
Yeah, sorry. Let me jump onto that as well. I think I'm definitely gonna ask Kalam if I could commandeer the channel and do like I don't know, the Black Nation hour or something. I think I got a lot of answers, or I got a lot. I thought about this a lot, like similar to Gabs, and I would love to get a lot of the brothers here. And I think, but I think what you said is definitely true, and that's a good point to point out that we're struggling to agree here. But I think that also overlooks the point that I think me, Gabs, and E Black to a certain extent have agreed in many ways of putting forth or way in such things could work. And I think a few people in the comments have also agreed and shown some support for the ideas that we put forward. But
Can somebody just clarify for me, because I'm hearing 4 or 5 different things being put forward, right? Is the consensus in this panel at the moment is that Black people break away from society, create their own
No.
Okay.
That's not what, also witness and speakers corner is also showing no agreement. Sorry,
I'm not saying no, I'm not saying yes. I'm saying depends.
Yes, and no.
I'm saying depends.
So let me finish my line of questioning and then maybe respond. Yeah. So is it the panel's view that we should break away as Black people, start up our own nation, have our own infrastructure, our own police, our own navy, our own military, etc., etc.? Is this what the panel agrees with?
No.
If not, what aspects do you agree with?
Not me personally.
Yeah.
Okay, so far we've got Ezra and who else? Who else agrees with that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
B2. So we've got B2, Ezra. What the rest of you guys think about that?
I'm still trying to understand, how are you going to come into an African country that already has its own military?
No,
you're going to buy land.
I'm specifically talking about Britain, England.
Oh, Britain. That's not what the
I'm not. This is the thing. I think the problem is there, brother, is they're all talking about different kinds of ideas about Black nations. Do you know what I mean? So I'm coming from a political background of studying politics and like thinking about some of these things making mad noise. Anyway, I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm coming from like a background of like. Is that man?
Right? Can everyone mute apart from the person who's speaking? Go on.
Yeah, so I'm coming from a background of like understanding like a nation state and stuff like that. I don't think there's any possibility of breaking off and creating a black part of the UK or breaking off and creating black part of Ghana for one specific
But
part.
how is it you can understand that, but Ezra and B2 can't? What can you say to them to make them understand your position?
I'd probably have to listen to their position a bit more first. But yeah, my Black nation is completely different. So I just want to make that clear so that I think me, Gabs, and E Black have a bit of a different idea of how we slowly progress into Black nationhood. I'm not going to speak completely for those two, but I think others might have a different idea about Black nationhood.
All right, let me ask Gabs then. Gabs, are you there? Gabs,
yeah, man.
So B2 and Ezra agree that to have a breakaway state comprised of Black people whereby they have their own police, own military, own hospitals, and all the rest of it.
I'm agreeing with that as well. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I don't know about being in the UK, but I agree with that as well.
No,
I think
I'm talking about the UK specifically. I'm not talking about any other. I'm talking about the UK specifically. So, black people within the UK are going to break away, set up their own state, their own nation, own military, own hospital, own schools, own. Right? Do you agree with that, Gabs?
What, in the UK?
In the UK.
Wait. That stipulation weren't put.
Yeah, that nobody mentioned in the UK.
Okay,
we're just saying to have our own nation, we're gonna have to have these things.
Nicely,
like every other nation.
Maybe I didn't. Maybe it's my fault. I didn't explain it properly, or maybe you guys didn't understand me. So let me say it again. Who in the panel agree that there should be a breakaway state within the UK comprising of black people only that have their own military, their own schools, their own infrastructure? Who on the panel agrees with that?
Yeah, I still agree with that.
I agree with that.
It's just the army thing. You drop that army thing is different because it's unrealistic. How are you going to try to have an army occupying the land in the UK?
Yeah, like that's when have that breakaway state in UK and elsewhere as well. So it's
but having your own schools, your own infrastructure.
So hold on, guys, hold on. Let's just get this clear. So we've got B2 and Ezra and E. Do you agree with that?
I'm with B2, like in terms of the not military. When you say state in it, yeah, what do you mean? Like it's gonna have its own government? And...
Right. So you see, like in Ireland, there's Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, yeah,
Yeah.
Southern Ireland. So part of Ireland is Northern Ireland, which belonged to the British.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah,
so
familiar
I'm
with that.
assuming by what you gentlemen are saying or proposing is that within England there's a breakaway state that is similar to Northern Ireland, governed by black people only. Is that what you guys are suggesting?
Okay, no, I'm not saying
No.
that.
Rather than assuming, yeah, it'd be better to just ask, honest, because.
Well, that's what I've just asked four times, and I've got
all right,
seven
okay.
different answers.
So I'll tell you. Do you know what? I've said this before, but I'll repeat it again. Yeah, this is what I see it as. I don't see it in the immediate future. I don't see a requirement for people to relocate to a single place, and I see the disadvantage in the isolation of being restricted in one space. And I'd see advantages to being widespread and still integrated with other communicators on the communities on the economical level, political level, but as well, the final goal, in my opinion, is to separate and is to have our own independent structures.
Yeah,
within the UK, yeah?
No, not the way I see it is not the UK, it's international. So we would have an army that is international that represents internationally.
Yeah.
Represents
for the people in the UK, in Ghana, in Jamaica, everywhere.
Including.
I suppose once we've got a nation, we could do
speak to Gabs because I think I've spoke to Gabs.
Well, listen, brother, can I say, but listen, my brother.
Sorry, Mr. Carman, I'm trying to understand something, and by you interrupting me, you're not letting me understand.
I know you don't like me to speak. I want to answer you.
I will let you speak once I understand. So let me understand, and then you can speak and add afterwards. Yeah, is that fair?
You want to bait man up, brother? Your question asking is baiting man up. That's what you want to do. You put us in spot.
I beg your pardon.
Trust.
Have been talking this, and that's why I don't get it. Right, so I'm asking you to clarify.
This is why I even said, like, from the go, bruv, like, I feel like the majority of the work we need to do needs to be away from the public arena.
If you can't be open and honest in the public forum, how are you going to implement it in the public?
What do you mean? We need to discuss it first.
But the way you're trying to frame the question is not what I'm saying. When you're saying the UK thing...
But wait, brother. Are you trying to say no policies, that are being conducted behind the scenes are implemented into the public?
Yeah, more than likely. Is that what we're
So there's your answer there.
I'm being open and honest. Can I be open and honest? Can I be open and honest with Buddha? Buddha saying want open and honesty. That question you asked about if we want to have an army in the UK, if man ever answer that question a certain way, you want to send people at this door tomorrow morning.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying to you. Okay, look, I'll put it on my head, yeah? Let's assume that I would like to have an army within the UK. Do you think for 1 second or 1 minute any government within the UK would entertain it? You've just answered the question by saying the police will be around my house tomorrow.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
So
Yeah.
what are you guys
You want me to
talking
answer you,
about?
brother?
What
You
kind
want
of
me to answer you?
delusional
Let me
thinking are
answer
you
you.
thinking
Let
here?
me, let me
Is
answer
this
you.
progressive
Let me
towards the
answer.
black community or not?
Yo,
Ask
big
him.
up,
Buddha,
big,
what
yo, big,
happened, Buddha, I'll tell you what
Buddha.
happened. What happened originally is that there was an American man on the panel, a black American, and he mentioned to us that he, as a Hebrew Israelite, had purchased land in an African country, and
Right.
that was where he was going to build his community.
Brilliant.
So that's where the debate was, but he's no longer on the panel. He's left. So
That's fine. That's fine.
yeah.
I was here for that
Okay.
conversation.
All right.
Right.
Sorry.
So I am just trying to clarify things here because, as you gentlemen have rightly and correctly pointed out, some of the things that are being put forward here or not being said can be interpreted in a certain way. I would ask you to indulge this thought. If it was white people saying these things, you'd be up in arms. Yet here you are on a public.
Saying what though, bro? Saying what?
saying
What
that
did?
they
Wouldn't be
got
up in arms,
their
innit?
own
Tommy
militia.
Robinson says this all the time. What you
All
on
right, you
about?
But wait,
got Tommy
no. Let's
Robinson.
not get off on that.
All
Yeah.
right, one at a
Saying
time.
what
One
though,
at a time.
Buddha?
One at a time.
Buddha
Go
saying
ahead.
what?
Right.
If
So,
white people were saying what?
so if white people said they wanted to separate, they wanted their own militia, separate from the government that is a white government that I recognize already. Yeah, but say they want their own militia, their own hospitals, their own schools, their own thing. People will be up in arms. Right.
Alright,
You
why don't you?
guys.
Okay, let's ask the panel. Who would be up in arms if that was the case?
Buddha, I don't agree with that
Not me,
idea.
not me at all.
Just to put my opinion out there, I don't agree with that idea. Being in a white person's country and then trying to have your own army, I don't agree with it. So I guess I'm on my own on the panel.
No, you're not on your own because I totally disagree with it as well.
Okay, I
This is
see.
what
All
I'm
right.
saying. It's not
So
progressive.
nobody mentioned Buddha. No, Buddha. Listen, Buddha. Listen.
Yeah, this is
Nobody.
something.
Wait there. 1 second, fam. Nobody but Buddha mentioned having a army inside Great Britain.
Hold on.
We mentioned. Listen,
Ezra,
Buddha.
Ezra,
Listen,
let me
Buddha.
clarify.
Listen,
for you.
fam. Let me finish, fam.
Go on, go
I'm
on.
saying that nobody but you mentioned having this army in Great Britain, but
Okay.
yet somehow it's like you're trying to force it onto us.
No,
We
no,
says,
no,
yeah,
no.
as a black nation, that would be obviously international, yeah, would need these things, a government, an army, and all of the above,
Right.
like
So
every other nation would.
Ezra,
That's all we said.
Ezra, I'm speaking about Claim. You've spoken to Claim before. Yeah? I've spoken to Claim. He's put these things forward. I heard Claim come on here and start talking these things. Right. So this
Yeah,
is
but
why
then
when I'm hearing you guys agreeing and saying these things can work and blah blah blah, I'm trying to say, yeah, certain things can work. As a community, we can build ourselves up. But you need to draw a line by saying you can't start stepping on people's
no.
sovereignty.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Buddha,
How can
can I just come in on that one? But Buddha, I hear what you're saying. Wait, can I just come on that one? I hear what you're saying about claims thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you really listen to the thing properly, yeah, even when you ask, what's man's name?
Hello.
He dropped out, boy. That's mad. A lot of people.
Yeah, enough man have dropped out. They'll be back still. 1 second.
I'd like to, he will come back in a sec. Let me just jump in quickly and just sort of say, I think it would be a lot easier and for everyone in the chat if we had this black community building conversation and we allowed everyone to go around the panel and actually lay out exactly what they mean by when they're talking about a black community and what it is they want, rather than us assuming. Because right now there's a lot.
Right.
Of,
That's it.
Wait, can I finish what I'm saying? Sorry.
Sorry, just before you finish, that is the issue. That was the issue when I first unmuted my mic by saying the panel can't even agree on what they want to do. We've got a guy in America called Claim that wants to do this whole Hebrew Israelite. We've got other people that want to do different things. We've got other people talking about religion. We've got other people, do you know what I'm saying? And this just makes us look diabolical. We need to come to a certain. I'm just saying, people looking outwards, looking inwards. What are they seeing? Do you understand?
Listen. Claim has been given a plot of land in Ghana. He's talking about what he's talking about what he would do with the Hebrew Israelite community.
Ezra, I'm about to
That's
cut.
what I'm talking about.
Say, like, sorry, I'm just about to cut. So I'm just gonna say quickly that, like, to have this conversation, just try to have a bit more order, one person at a time. Lay out exactly. Don't respond to what anyone said before. Now, just come into the chat now. Lay out exactly what your idea of a black community is, and let each person go one after the other, and then actually challenge people on what they actually said rather than what they didn't say or what you think they said. But anyway, it's late now. I've been up for way too late. Hopefully, you might have a good, productive conversation on after this. I'm going to set up a little hangout tomorrow and try and do a black community conversation because I think it's big. But yes, up. Love.
Yes, big up, big up. Right, Ezra. So do you see where I'm coming from when I'm saying about the army and all the rest of it? I'm specifically talking about claim. Yeah.
Yeah, but Claim, what I was saying to you is Claim, yeah, has been like, I don't know if you heard him, but he's been granted land by the Ghanaian government to start a Hebrew society. So he's talking about in the laws of his land and what he's going to do there, the militia, the government, these things. You automatically applied that to people here. I'm talking about that.
So, okay.
He's talking about in a sovereign land. Huh?
Okay, right. So the point I was trying to make is he was trying to tell me this a few months back. Okay, and I said to him, he wanted to do this in America, rude boy. And I said to him, you're insane. You think the American government's going to let you do that? You'll start a fucking civil war.
All right, 1 second. Let me come in. Can I come in, please, bro?
Come in.
All right. Firstly, yeah, just out of all due respect, let me just remind you of the rules, innit? No swearing, yeah. I hate to dig that one, but as a moderator, come on, innit? All right. Separate from that now, yeah. I understand what you're saying about claims thing, but I feel like in this instance, it's irrelevant because, yeah, as a moderator, particularly, yeah, you asked a question in a very restrictive way, and I understand sometimes you need to do that, but the undertone of your question had a lot of assumptions that hadn't been made by either myself or Ezra. So even when you ask Scattered Minds, do you agree with B2 and Ezra? He would, even though he had been very involved in the conversation, he was unable to answer because we had not been active like that, co-signing Claims, reasoning. Do you understand? So there was no justification for you to assume that we were saying yeah through the conversation, because we wasn't. That's why Scattered Minds couldn't comment on our view because he hadn't heard it. You understand? So
that's why I was asking for clarification.
Okay, but in order to get that, you need to first ask what your position is. Do you get what I'm saying?
Which I
you
feel
can't
I've
do
done.
that through, huh?
Which I feel I've done through.
Yeah, but you went to the British you went to the army in building the army in UK, which was never our premise. Premise, though.
Well, then if you state that, we can move forward.
All right,
That's
let's
why
move
I asked
forward.
for clarification. So if you're saying to me you don't have those intentions to set up a militia or military within the UK, we can move forward. If you say yes, you are, we're gonna have serious issues.
Okay, I think it's a mixture. Sorry, go on, bro.
My brother, no face. I think Buddha with all respect, misunderstand what I was saying. Certain question you just don't ask certain question in a public media.
Okay,
you cannot ask. You cannot ask.
I'm mute my mic. Yeah, you lot do your thing. Go on.
Yeah, can I say no? I don't mean no disrespect. I would never ask no one in the UK right now. We're on a panel which is live streaming on YouTube. How many thousand people watching? Do you want to have put him in a hot seat? Do you want to have your own army inside the UK? Yeah, that's some mad stuff, bro.
Okay, listen, Carman, listen. If I said to you, let's see now. How can I put this? If I said, are you a Muslim fundamentalist? Do you want to blow up the Houses of Parliament?
I'm here, man. I'm here.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Mr. Carman?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Okay. So if I said to you, are you a Muslim fundamentalist and do you
intend
to blow up the House of Parliament? Right? You can either respond yes or no. If you refuse to answer the question, I'm going to say to myself, you've got something to hide.
Not necessarily. Understand? No, not necessarily.
No.
Buddha, what? I don't understand. Like,
no. He's asking me a question. We're gonna deal with it, brother, because I can listen very well. He asked me a question. If I keep silent, it still doesn't mean I'm guilty.
Let's not deal with this one. I don't think we should deal with this one here publicly, man.
No, but
I think we should move on.
No, brother, my brother, no face. Let me answer the point. What we was discussing about black betterment and collectively a group of black people. Not you're talking large number of black people now. Breaking our farming their own thing. Buddha talk of promoting a mixed society and remain this way. But you don't remain at the suffering that we're going through while we currently right now remaining. Do you know how many black brother in our detention center in UK now getting insulted by white people daily?
Excuse me, Mr. Carmen. Mr. Carmen, can you hear me?
No, I'm saying. So
I
my
know
point
what
is
you're saying. I know what he's saying, but
the
you're
reason
not
why
hearing. You're saying and you're not hearing.
let me finish my point. Can I finish
No,
my
don't
point,
finish
my
your
brother?
point. Listen to what I'm
Can I finish my
saying to you
point?
because you're
Yes.
making accusations.
No, can I
about
finish my
me,
point, brother?
and
Please, let me
you can
finish
finish
my
it
point.
when I
Let me
respond
finish
to
my
your
point.
accusation.
So the reason why,
yeah, like I'm trying to explain to you, I said I'm for the building of the black community. However, where I differ is when people start, such as Mr. Claim, state that they want to start building their own nation, a separatist nation with their own military and military army and all the rest of it, because you do not understand the political ramifications of even suggesting that.
I understand very well, my brother. Mr. Claim was giving an example that was already in effect. It's different. He was giving an example that he have a concession from a government to start that. It's already in effect. That was an example. That got nothing to do with what we say we're planning as what our solution. That's a different issue. You understand me, my brother? So don't think because I don't understand very well. I can understand. Believe me, you want to hear me? I'm very bold. I will agree, and in some cases, black people, just like a wife who's oppressed and need to leave her husband. We are oppressed right now. The cup is getting full over. So I'm saying I will agree that I consider possible of being to breaking off and start a thing together. But we're looking at solution and the SWOT. We were examining things. Nothing wrong with that. We all black brothers say for the betterment and we're gonna form a unity. You do not come and put your black brother in a hot seat back such question. Every government can turn it around and say, look, you see what these people planning now? Let's go get them. You don't answer the question. That's what I said before. I have something that for betterment for black people.
Yeah, what?
Listen.
You know what? I don't know if you're
I will never do that.
On a visitor's visa or something. Yeah, I ain't got no fear of the government. I'll pose whatever question I want. If you choose not to answer it, that's your business. Okay, but
you have a right, bro.
Nah, but Buddha, I feel like if we're discussing black betterment and black nation building, yeah, like I feel like you asking certain questions, yeah, is just like a backwards step. You understand? Like,
so asking a pertinent question is a backward step.
No, because if we're discussing something that's totally irrelevant to what you're talking about, and then you come up with this thing that's gonna make a lot of issues, you get me? Like we wasn't talking about this. You said, you know, certain answers to that question. Yeah, you know the ramifications of that, and it. Right. But you still decided to discuss that. You still decided to ask that anyway.
I would decide.
Like, when we're supposed to be nation building.
Listen, I'm not scared of. I'm not scared of the government. Not scared of jail. I'm not scared of anything. I will stand on truth. If I have to ask a question to find out the truth.
Peace, family. Peace. I'm gonna get you guys just to mute your mics real quickly. Yeah, it's 8:00 in the morning right now. Right. Let me just quickly double check on the family. If you want us to continue the show, right, hit us up with some ones in the comment section. Right, but I'm not trying to make this go on for another 6 to 7 to 5 and know however long we've been doing some shows right about now. Right. So if you want us to continue, let us know. Right. But another way you can let us know is actually by hitting up the like buttons as well. You know, that's a nice way of letting us know that you want us to continue. Yeah, family. Okay. So this is what I want to do. Right. Let's see if we can do 10 to 15 more minutes here live on air. Okay. And then we're going to get real specific off camera. Right. So, just let it go and fall asleep, man, like M Stack says. Yeah. Oh man. All right. So let's keep things on track. Okay, let's keep things on track. Family would like to join us. Okay. Ooh, where are we? Let me get you guys the link. So yeah, I'm going to be posting you guys the link. And please, panel members, please make sure you're courteous enough to let everybody have an opportunity to speak. I'm going to be in the background as per usual. I'm going to let you guys continue to do your thing, but I'm going to stay out of this one. All right, family. Peace and love. Continue as you are.
This is Brother Reggie. If you mind, at some point, can you tag me in so I can speak?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Go.
Yeah, we'll start speaking now, Reggie. It's all yours.
Okay, great. Okay, So I put my screen. I'm sharing my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I wrote a book. It's called The Black City Plan. So I think I've covered a lot of issues really pertinent to America, the United States, the Black community in the United States, a very revolutionary community in the United States that has a lot of history. I have been a student of some of the greatest scholars, Dr. John Henry Clark and Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Professor Edward Scobie from the UK. He was a Royal Air Force fighter. He became a professor. He organized a party in Dominica to take the government or to be the ruling part of the government. These are my professors. The issue is that sometimes we start in the wrong place. People are talking about nations and they do not understand what a nation is. I put it like as we do with all of our studies when we're talking about religion, the most important thing is to put sources on. If you are not talking from sources, then you're just talking. What a nation is a people or aggregation of men existing in the form of an organized dual society, inhabiting a distinct portion of the earth, speaking the same language, using the same customs, possessing historic continuity, and distinguished from all other like groups by their racial origin and characteristics, and generally, but not necessarily, living under the same government and sovereignty. We are parts of other nations. That is what we are. Our community of Black people are parts of other nations. So that means that we have to fit within other nations until we form a nation of a people or aggregation of men existing in the form of an organized dual society. Without organizing yourself in an organized dual society, then we're lost. We're just talking. I approach the subject because I've studied the development of nations. Nations have states. In UK, you might call it something else. And then you have cities. I think cities is something that is involved in all nations. Cities are the fundamental building block of every nation because a city is the lowest part of a government structure that could create a dual society. Inside a city, any city, in a modern sense, it could consist of one ethnic group, many ethnic groups, many religions, etc., etc. But the city formed itself under a dual society, a society.
What happened? Did he drop out or what?
I don't know, boy.
I think you went Borg on us, bro. We can't hear anything you're saying, Reg.
Okay. So while he regains his connection, Mr. Claim, let me ask you something. Your plan that you wanted to set out in America, has that been taken off now, or are you gonna still carry on with
Taken off? What, based on your recommendation? That's funny.
No. What's funny? Okay.
Why would I start something and then stop it in the middle? We ain't even got it started yet.
You mean taking as it going well? Like, is it? I think.
Oh, my fault. It's okay. We got a cultural difference. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's going. Yeah, we're traveling around the country now, trying to get the promotion out there, and this platform should get it out to a couple of more ears, 1 or 2 more ears. Yeah.
Cool. So you still want to create a nation within America, with your own finance?
Yeah, I mean, there's already nations here inside of America. So I would cite the foreign trade zones, okay, which are mostly run by Chinese, and then also the autonomous nations, They are
Okay.
already recognized, you see,
Okay.
as
So
nations, as separate nations.
yeah. Okay. So within the Americas, the Native American population was here first. So America has specific laws. The nation of America, United States, has specific laws governing a how can I say, a domesticated a city within its territory. I mean, a group within its territories. But they are in fact governed. They do have some sovereignty. Dependent sovereignty is the word that I needed to use. They have dependent sovereignty on the nation, within the nation of the United States, but they're only dependent. So they have some legal powers, but not a lot of legal powers. So I don't want to be long, but I do want to say that the building block of governments is cities. So we would focus on organizing a jural society within the territories that we currently live in. So there are a number of terms that we have to discuss if we want to discuss this. One being city, state, or whatever you call it in the UK, nation, sovereignty. So so we would not have complete sovereignty, but as a city and or a state, we could have much more control of our jural society. So my point is that we need to look at these terms. We need to examine these terms instead of just talking. Now, I just want to say one other thing. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not coming through this, making this point as comedic. I don't know what a comedic is. I'm not a comedic. I'm not approaching this religiously. I'm approaching this with political science. So if you look at the building of these modern nations, Europe, United States, they all began with cities, and those cities spread. In warfare, the way that you defeat a nation is you defeat their cities. The cities are the base root of any nation. So, but the most important part of this conversation is creating a jural society, a society with laws, and those laws have to apply to all the people within that city territory, independent of their religion, independent of their ethnicity. Now, I approach it us building power by building power where we have a majority, of population, right? Majority of votes. And then in any city structure, you could create laws that support those people in those cities. I'll stop. I'm just saying that we have to examine terms. We just can't just start speaking, because then we're romanticizing. But the more important thing is, can we create laws that govern cities? Can we create laws that govern cities that are that give the values and interests and principles of the people living in the city, make it equitable? And if that model is successful, then that model will spread. Otherwise, it will not spread.
Yeah, but Reggie, like,
Okay, would it be fair to categorize
one second,
your plan integration into integration?
Exactly. So that's what I was gonna ask him. Like, how is that gonna work when you're talking about integrating as well? How are we gonna build as a black nation while we're concentrating on integrating with others?
Okay. So this conversation is really nothing new if you study the political history of Europe and America. America was formed with immigrants coming from Europe and different types of immigrants. And then what they did in America is that every immigrant population chose to organize themselves in cities. So there was the Irish, the Italians, and later on there were other groups that organized themselves. So yes, large groups of ethnicities can control cities. So again, right now it's there are.
So this is so wait, one second, bro. So is this not the black? So it's not really the black city plan. It's like the black everyone plan, black and everyone. Huh?
No, it's about majority populations controlling territory. So it is the Black City Plan that I wrote for America, because in America we have majority black cities. We have Atlanta, we have Detroit, we have Chicago.
But I'm saying, if these cities are going to be inclusive, how can you guarantee that they're going to stay black cities? Like, how can you guarantee they won't get gentrified if they're inclusive to everyone?
Yes, the only way they get gentrified is when the group of people, the majority of population, doesn't apply politics. When they do not apply politics, then they lose access to the laws and they allow other people to control the laws within their city.
No, I'm saying, so if it's okay, then so we've got this black city that's open to everyone, yeah. So if some rich white people or whoever Chinese decide they want to come in now, yeah, and buy up a lot of the place and move in there, people, and then charge, black people higher rents now, who's once there. Like, how can you protect against that? That's all I'm asking.
So for example, in the United States, there are majority like Cleveland, Detroit, there is Newark. These are majority black cities. What happens is that these residents, because of lack of education, because of groups coming in and basically manipulating them, they lose access to wanting to take control the governments in the cities. So it's insane that you have majority black populations that don't want to participate.
Georgia. Can't hear you, Reg.
Sorry, I'm just saying I don't understand how that's really addressing like the issue that I raised. So what I'm saying is, if you're gonna do a black city plan, and if we're gonna be building a black nation, it makes sense to concentrate on black. Say again. Hello. I'm just saying that if we're building a black nation, it makes sense to concentrate on black people instead of everybody. Like, this is where we always go wrong. Like, it's always got to be everybody. Why can't we just help ourselves for a little bit?
So Ezra, let me try and understand what your plan is while that gentleman's connection's going wrong. Are you able to talk about it, or is it kind of hush hush?
Nah, don't be silly, fam. It's just like, you know what I was saying anyway.
I'm trying to understand. If you can't talk about it, then you can't talk about it.
You know what? Like I said, I'm just saying, and don't like make arguments that man ain't saying. But carry on.
Okay, so my question to you is, what is your plan moving forward if you were in a position of power where you could establish a black nation? What would your black nation consist of?
Okay, so again, I am
Reggie.
Okay. So again, I've written a book called The Black City Plan. It begins with cities. So I don't even think in terms of a nation, because we haven't exercised our ability to control the territories in which we are majority populated in. So, but if you look at countries like, for example, Nigeria, or you look at Ghana. Inside Ghana, there are regions, and there are states, and there are cities in all of these nations, right? These groups of people send representatives. They organize themselves. They control the territory. Even you have ethnic groups controlling territories. They control cities, and then they send delegates up to the next level, which is the state, and then they send and from the state they send delegates up to the nation. We can't move forward because we don't know how to exercise power within places where we are majority populated, and those places happen to be cities. So I'm not thinking in terms of I don't think in terms right now of a nation. We have a lot of experience in the United States as being how can I say, enslaved in a way that very few people have been enslaved, but we have been able to organize ourselves in these cities. But the problem is that people don't study political science, so they don't want to vote. They don't want to participate in governments. And if you don't participate in your local governments, right, you can't control laws. Laws are the things, the jural society, laws are the things that controls those territories. If you're not writing those laws, participating in those laws, other people will write those laws for you.
Reggie, can I ask a question,
Yeah,
Reggie? I know you focus on the city, and it's very good. And like I was saying, when we build a city and then you go to the government, then you're gonna focus on the Equal Right Act to get a balanced level where you can get your people into certain public sector, and then you can move on from there. But you haven't focused on the weakness, like a SWOT. You look when you're building something, you focus on the SWOT, and you're talking about the weakness now. Where I understand where Israel is coming from, but I just elaborate some more on his point. Is the defense mechanism. When we black people don't believe in abortion, I take it maybe all the guys here. We're gonna have children, our nation gonna grow. So that means our city gonna grow. When the city start to grow, you're gonna have more likes of Tommy Robinson, gonna feel, oh, they're taking over. You're gonna have more likes of him start rising within the government, and they're gonna get the support, they're taking over. And that establishment, that white supremacist establishment who is there right now, they will launch attack to reduce you back down to nothing. What defense mechanism?
Bro. Exactly. How do you defend against that?
Can I say what defense mechanism does we have ready for these things?
Okay, so if you look at something like Black Wall Street, and people talk about Black Wall Street a lot, and they talk about Harlem. Black Wall Street was never...
what? I can't listen to this madness no more, man. You lot take it easy. I'm off.
Excuse me?
Go on, continue, Reggie. Don't pay them.
So if you
so wait there, black people trying to better themselves, yeah, and discussing it is madness to Buddha. See, people like
and
that. This is my point.
You
see black people that are not. See, them kind of black people just need to separate from, bro. That's what I'm saying.
You know what the
got no stamina, bro.
You know what the sickest thing is, man? You're gonna come off this thing and go watch it on the YouTube thing. So man's got to really ask what the issue is. Man don't want to be associated with this kind of thing. And that's going to be some of our people, bro. But man's just got to understand how you deal with that. And certainly how you deal with that in the public arena.
Okay.
Don't pay them no mind, bro. Don't pay them no mind. Come on, my brother.
So
come on, Reggie.
Yes. So you're absolutely right about people have interests. Everybody has interests, values, and principles. Groups have interests, values, and principles. In the black cities of the United States, we are subdomains of this nation called the United States. So if you're in the UK, you may live in a city in the UK. There are territories and cities in the UK that are majority black population. In those cities, yes, there are certain issues. One of the issues might be, for example, you raise one group of people does not believe in abortion, right? another group of people believe in abortion, right? As an example, that may be against the laws of your particular religion, or if your religion may accept that. Okay, so even though a city is a jural society and it has laws, that does not mean that you have to get an abortion, right? It also means that if you organize yourselves, right, then you could go into the city law and that you could put in structures to protect your population. So in America, there are states that don't agree with the policies of the federal government. So on the issue of like immigration. So whereas the federal government wants their soldiers, their police force to come in and arrest the immigrants, particularly the South American immigrants that are coming to the United States, there are cities that don't allow that. They tell their officers that, check this out, this is not a policy that we are following because it's not beneficial for our city. We need a cheap labor force. So laws are sometimes enforced or not enforced based on and these are, so sometimes there are city laws versus state laws versus the federal government laws. So the thing about it, if you have a seat and you're a lawmaker within your local population, that helps you create laws that benefit your population.
I'm just saying collectively where we know we're gonna get to a level. I mean, I think you talk about the sanctuary city in America, but have you not seen the narrative is still pressing on where Donald Trump determined that this gonna come to an end?
Well, yes, in the federal government, that is his wishes, but in many times he is the cities and the states and the sanctuary states, they don't apply the laws of the federal government, and they actually have the right to sue the federal government or withhold monies to the federal government or increase their voting power against the person that they're disagreement with. So we have a multi-party system in the United States, Democrats and Republicans and independents and stuff. The thing that gets a candidate elected is votes. So sometimes a politician, he makes the wrong decision and ultimately he or she is voted out. But in the local communities, we have that same structure. So we can control the laws.
Yeah, but Reggie,
yes.
Are you saying that like this system, yeah, that you're talking about is what is going to be best for the upliftment of our people? Are you saying that us joining this political system is what we need?
Yes. Almost all of our in the United States, almost all of our leaders have participated in one form or another in deciding as to whether we should participate or not. So you have El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, the man that you know as Malcolm X. He created the Organization of Afro-American Unity. I'm a member of the Organization of African American Unity. I wrote my city plan based on examining his work. His work was always for us to control majority Black.
Yeah, but was his plan for us to join the political system, or was it for us to join our own, to make our own and segregate? Hello? Hello? Well, I'm sure Malcolm X was telling us to segregate and separate. Yeah. Martin Luther King was teaching the opposite.
Own house. We have to work to solve our differences, and we could do that by voting. We could do that by community organizing, right? Ultimately, in some type of democratic practice where the majority of ideas rule.
Reg, Can you there's some stuff that there's some stuff that really idiots, yes? There's some stuff that we can't really discuss. Like when you join a system, I mean, you probably mean with our physical presence, but our mind and our heart is somewhere else. And I understand that very well. No, but there's some stuff that I'm saying now. You talk about the political science that you mentioned before, and you say you formulate a plan from the political. I'm not going to envy you. I'm just stating what you say. You formulate this plan by your political science. I saw the black city. I take it you want to go up on the political science, but currently speaking, you must remember that there has been an unbreakable attack from the same political science structure that want to reduce the black race. That say we get impregnated too much.
I agree.
And yes,
I agree, but that has nothing. That's the same as the Irish.
No, I'm just
and the English, right?
No, it's not just
Yeah, but we're talking about us though.
No, understand my point. Yeah, if I'm saying a system of a people already is already in function and never stop being in function of reducing my nation building, but I'm gonna empower that system that they're using. It's a suicidal move.
Suicidal, yo, 100%, rude boy.
Well,
I never thought we'd agree on anything.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: is when you take their own structures from them, it is not suicidal. So when you take a city that is a city, for example, in the United States, that is majority black populated, right, and you create laws to benefit those members of the city, then what happens is the government is not attacking individuals. The government has to attack that city. Now there are certainly laws. A city has its own police force. It has its own economics. It has its own culture, right? And so for the United States to attack its own city, that hasn't done. What it tries to do is destabilize the city, right?
Reggie,
but to physically attack.
Can
Yes,
I ask you a question, please?
Reggie, don't cut you. Sorry, don't cut you. I'll correct something. Reggie, we're not trying to take nothing from there. Reggie, let me say on the ear live. Let me just correct her. I think, and I know. Let me say on the ear live. We're not trying to take nothing from nobody. We want to try and live freedom and build our black nation, have the freedom to do what we want to do. Let's let me very clear right there. Yes, Reggie? Because like I said to you, certain thing is man need to be clever when they speak on a public thing with how many thousand people view. Let's make it very clear, Reg. You understand me? It's something good. We can move it. I like this panel because we can shift it to maybe have a meeting in person and we can chat more. You understand? What I'm trying to say is Reg. Yeah, the thing is now is we not no one try to make a nation building, but when I was saying about the abortion thing, it was you pick out one aspect, but you mix it. I was giving an holistic example and try to find a holistic defensive mechanism that I know that we will be challenged because I'm trying to compliment our black woman. I know most of our black women don't do abortion. It's not a thing of us. The one that got infiltrated by white ideas, that's their business. But also our black women are loving generally. They're under pressure, but they're loving mostly. You understand me? Yeah, so we're gonna the nation by people. Before we have the city building, before we have the city block, we already in attack still while we scattered to reduce us to nothing. You understand? So I'm asking you, is a reality when you put those cities together and we galvanizing together, then and our mother producing our beautiful black baby, there will be common sense that we're only gonna multiply. I'm saying to you, the same alarm that Tamara was about immigration problem, it would be an internal growth of black people concern now. And they will attack you. What holistically, collectively, what defensive mechanism system we have to protect ourselves of this inevitable attack that will come to us.
Okay, so
Reggie, have you seen Wild Country? Someone muted you, by the way, or you muted yourself. I don't know.
Someone muted me.
Yeah, have you seen Wild Country? The on Netflix, where like Osho and his people in America, they got their own town. They ended up being the majority. They changed the name of the town. They had their own police force and all of that. Have you seen that documentary?
No, I didn't see it. What's the name of it so I can study it?
Wild Country.
Say it again.
Wild Country.
Wild Country. So this is a town or a city? It's a
town.
It's a town. Okay,
yeah.
So towns function a little bit different. Multiple towns create or parts of cities. They have limited governance. Cities have much more governance than towns. Towns could be 50 people, 100 people, 200 people. It could be 1,000 people. But towns are part of part of the city municipality.
Okay. And yeah, that's cool. I just wanted to know about that. And also, like, I think you should plug your book in it. I just like right now I'm gonna scan it like when I get a chance and then a bit later.
It's called the Black City Plan.
Yeah, I got like I just downloaded the PDF, but I think like you should share that with people that they can get like a free copy and they can look through it themselves, innit? Because some people might be.
So, I mean, unlike a lot of books, the book is about 223 pages, and I'm continuously editing and putting case studies. And I'm sorry, it's it's more United States based, but the elements of a city is there. So every ancient state, Greek states, they all started with the city. They started with Sparta, they started with Greek, and then they built up the cities. The cities unified, and then it became a country. That's just how it happened in the Arabian. How can I say the Arabian world? It happened in the Asian world. It happened in the it happened for all societies. They all start with cities. Cities then unite, and then they become states. Now, cities, they have also control of politics, but cities also have control of economics. So, and then there is the culture that feeds into it. But the main engines of a city is economics and politics, right? Now, the culture is things like the religion, different immigrant groups organize themselves within particular places. But at the same time, for them to have power.
Are you going to be sharing anytime soon, Reggie?
I can. I'm not a moderator. It's called the.
No, I said, are you going to be sharing the microphone anytime soon?
Sure. I mean, I was asked a question. I'll stop.
Me, I was happy to listen, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm saying, go ahead and finish your question. I'm just saying, I've been listening for about 35 minutes.
Okay, I listened to you. I was offline for about 45, 50 minutes. I would ask you, can I ask you a question? Because I have been to Ghana.
While I was on the panel. I didn't speak the whole time. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on. Ask him your question then.
Yes.
Yeah, you man, I put the link to the PDF of the Black City Plan in the back chat, yeah?
They were not accepted.
You blanked out again. You blanked out again.
Can you hear me
we didn't
now?
hear
Start
anything
again,
you
man.
said.
Yeah, start again, bro.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
When I went to Ghana in 1986, I met the first kind of Hebrew Israelite settlers within Ghana. And the problem was that there were already ethnic groups that have been in there for thousands of years. So there has been a big conflict because the group, his Hebrew Israelite group, though they were given territory, it's okay until you go against that government, because they don't control cities. They have a territory, but they don't control the politics.
Is that what you experienced? Or I mean, is that what the people that you're talking about experienced?
Yes, I went there
Okay,
yes.
No, I'm asking you, the people that you're talking about that received a territory in Ghana, they experienced a clash with the Ghanaian government?
Yes. Did you hear me?
No, I didn't hear you.
I said yes.
Okay, So you expect that to happen again, and so you're trying to discourage me from. Are you asking me to leave Ghana or something? Like, we already have a community
No,
there.
I'm not asking you to. I'm not asking you to leave Ghana, but what I'm just trying to say is the government of Ghana gave you permission to settle there, but they did not give you permission to form your own government.
Okay, well, I don't know the people that you're talking about in 1986. I was born in 78, so I was only 8 years old then. Okay, so the territory that we have now, I mean, I don't see how they can prevent that from happening.
Okay, so whether or not you know it, there are ethnic groups of people that have control over the land. They have been there for thousands of years.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, okay.
And they are Fante, Ashante, Ewe, Ga, right? The Achim. There are a number of groups of people. They gifted you territory to work with them, only to work with them, but not to form your own government.
What does that have to do with the Black City Plan? Okay, so I was just, kind of wanted to go into my spiel. You see what I'm saying? You're presenting your information, and I like it anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I've been promoting the Black City Plan since you started it. You know what I mean? After I brought out my plans and stuff. So I've been supporting this entire time.
Reggie, are you saying the brother he get a territory for his Hebrew Israelite family?
Hold on.
Are you saying he's not supposed to?
I think I'm borging out.
My brother.
I gotta
no,
refresh.
my brother claim I'm just in Reggie. If he go to Ghana and he get a territory for his Hebrew Israelite community, they have a right to live in the community freely the way they want to live in the community. Don't you think so, Reggie?
They have a right as long as
sovereigns.
Yes, they have a right as long as it's within the laws that benefit Ghana. Yes.
What? So there's no need to challenge it. They're not going there and killing the other people. Them there and say, okay, then you stop living now. I mean, they get a freedom there. They can live in the community that they love. They have a right to live by the Bible within their community because that's what they believe in. You understand what I'm saying, brother?
I hear what Reggie's saying though.
So why?
No, but what Reggie's mistaken on here is that they've been given land to build a Hebrew nation. So guess what? He's going to be able to, as a part of his nation, going to be able to create laws to govern that nation.
To be fair, though, we can only speculate in it, without seeing the paperwork, and seeing what the conditions of that gifting of the land is. We can only assume or guess or speculate what they can do with it, innit?
It's true.
Well, long as we have no evidence of them taking over. We don't have no evidence of nobody. Something has been given to you, so you take what's given to you. But while in that environment where it's given to you, don't you have a right to live the way you want to live in the home that you was given to you or what you possess now? So if they're living in that community,
if I had land, if I bought some land, if I had some land and I said, boom, you can build a house on there, that's cool, But if you started moving certain ways, then none would evict you from man's land, isn't it?
Well, that's hypothetical, because the fact that you say if my brother is hypothetical.
Don't forget, like Ghana is one of the nations that has apologized for Atlantic slave trade, and that's why they are open to giving. It's not just Hebrews, everyone. I'm sure Black Muslims would even get some too if they applied for it. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, man.
There's land there for all of us. So
it's all the land in Africa, bro. Do your thing.
Yeah, I get that. I'm getting the land to build on that, but say for example, if now they started having an army on this land, and Ghana didn't want it, then it's not that they couldn't say anything about it or couldn't stop it.
Ghana will stop it because that is not in the agreement. You have to be governed by the laws of Ghana. So if there is a killing or rape, if there's theft, you go into going to get
No, that's a lie because tribal leaders, yeah.
Let me ask the question, Rich.
1 second, bro. There's tribal leaders that govern their own tribe and their territory, yeah, by their own laws. You understand? Not everywhere in Ghana is governed by the government of Ghana. You should know that more than anyone, Reggie.
Yeah, I do know. I do know this. There are certainly. What I'm saying is that applies. The tribal laws applies to indigenous.
Reg. Because if we make a black city plan, yeah, and we don't know we're gonna protect our black city, because as I asked you, you didn't give me a clear answer. We shouldn't have a problem with Hebrew Israelites when they know how to protect their own city.
Yeah,
you understand what I said to you?
They don't have a city. They have a territory.
No, yeah, but we shouldn't have a problem with them because they have it, or they're gonna protect their own thing. You have to know how to protect your own thing, bro. So now, if for example, if you have a city in America, if you got for example, in America, every individual they can allow to have guns. So if all the people in your black city have guns, it's like a harm because every house have gun. But that is to protect yourself, not to infringe, not to be offensive to no one. Is to you have your defense ready.
The minute that you
so
start,
I see no. Listen, Reg, I see nothing wrong. Hebrew Israelites, they get the place, they don't take it over, they give it to them freely. They're not violating no other one rights. In their perimeter of their community, they can have the protective system to defend themselves if someone approach them physically. Nothing wrong with that, bro.
Okay, so if you want to take Ghana specifically, Ghana is one of those places where their people are not armed in general. Just like in the UK, right? Even the policemen, most of the policemen, the bobbies are not armed. So they don't have it's very difficult for you to import guns into Ghana.
I did give a general example that I give a specific example, a general example that if you have a whole territory for one group of people, it's right for them to have a defensive mechanism to defend themselves from any threat. I didn't give no specific about no gun in Guyana. I didn't say nothing like that.
Well, yes, you if you have a territory and it was gifted, and we would have to see the bylaws and the agreement.
You got to understand that there's a lot of black people in America that don't want to live here. I personally don't want to live in Ghana. So it was, you know what I'm saying, some friends of mine that do. So they went over there and tried to purchase land in Ghana. And so that's when, they found out that Ghana does not sell land to anybody. Yeah. Chinese come in and try to buy the land and all that stuff. They don't sell land. So you're absolutely correct in knowing that they gifted the land to my crew. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is I don't want to go there. So we already was putting in place the American society. So we're going around promoting